I'm going to be remaking Minecraft mobs into Garden of Banban 6. The first character I'll make is Sir Dadadoo, and I'm gonna use a Ravager because they're both big and scary. First, let's remove all the stuff we don't need, and we'll start to make the shape of his body. Now let's start giving him an arm on the side. Next, I'm gonna start to give him a head, and I think this is good, so now let's start to add some color. First, I'm gonna color his body fully light gray. Now let's color his hands the same color as his head, and now we'll just give him some teeth on the bottom like this. Now finally, let's start to give him a tie, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how Sir Dadadoo looks in game. He definitely looks pretty scary. He also kind of looks like he's from Monsters Inc. Does anyone else see that? It's probably just the tie that he's wearing. It makes him look like he's ready for work. Since Sir Dadadoo kind of looks like a slug, I decided to make it so that he walks very slowly. But don't let this trick you though, because just like in the actual game, Sir Dadadoo is able to move very quickly if he's attacking you. And if you get hit by Sir Dadadoo, he will give you all these potion effects, because in the game, he possesses some of the other monsters, so this is kind of the same thing. Subscribe or Sir Dadadoo will possess you. If you manage to kill Sir Dadadoo, he drops a Dadadoo tooth, which does the same thing as his attack does. It possesses things. And overall, I think Sir Dadadoo turned out really good. He looks a lot like the actual monster. So because of this, I decided to give Sir Dadadoo a 10 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the nanny, and I'll use a pig because the nanny is either a pig or a cow, but I don't know which. So first, let's get rid of these back legs. Now let's start to shape the body like this. Now let's make these legs a lot bigger. Now let's change the shape of her head a little bit, and we'll just give her some floppy ears like this. And I think this is looking good, so now let's color her in. First, I'm gonna color her body a grayish blue color. Now let's color her legs a little bit darker. Now let's color her nose blue, and we'll give her some bright yellow eyes like this. Now let's give her a blue mouth as well, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how the nanny looks in game. I still can't tell if she's supposed to be a pig or a cow. Come on guys, which one is it? You have to tell me. Okay, I don't think they know either. In the game, the nanny is seen lurking in one of the first rooms before jump scaring the player, so I decided to make it so that the nanny is mainly found in dark areas as well. The nanny also moves quite slowly, similar to Sir Dadadoo, because this is how she's seen moving at first. But don't let this trick you again, because the nanny attacks you super quickly if you get too close, similar to her jump scare. I decided to make it so that if you kill the nanny, she drops a pork chop, and the reason I did that is because she looks like a pig. I'm sorry if she's a cow, I seriously can't tell. And overall, I think the nanny looks pretty good in game, but her body design just looks a little bit boring. So because of this, I'm going to give the nanny an 8 out of 10. The next character I'll make is Syringeon, and I'm gonna use a sniffer to make him because they both start with S. First, I'm gonna remove all the stuff we don't need, and I'm gonna turn his legs into feet like this, and we'll add a leg on top of the feet as well. Now let's start to add his neck like this, and we'll add his head on the top of his neck as well. Now let's start to give him some arms, and now we're gonna start coloring him in. First, I'm gonna color his entire body a bright pink color, and now let's give him a mouth like this, and we'll also start to give him some eyes on the top. Next, I'm gonna add his surgeon tools that he has on each of his hands, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how Syringeon looks in game. This guy doesn't look that bad. I don't really know why he's turning like this though. This is definitely a problem. But other than that, Syringeon looks good. I especially like his face. It looks kind of funny. In the game, Syringeon is referred to as the surgeon, so I decided to make it so that he does surgery on you when he hits you. Okay, it's not actually surgery. He just freezes you and starts taking your hearts. I don't know how to make this guy an actual surgeon. Something I also just noticed is that Syringeon's arms aren't actually supposed to be in the air like this. His picture on the wall deceived me. If you kill Syringeon, he drops a beetroot, and the only reason I made him drop this random item is because it looks like a heart, and he is the surgeon. Overall, I don't think Syringeon turned out that bad, but there are a few things that are kind of weird. So because of this, I decided to give him an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the naughty ones, and I'll use an endermite to make them because they're both kind of the same. So let's remove a few pieces like this. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of his body a little bit, and we'll give him a head on the top of his body. Now let's rotate the bottom of his body like this, and we'll start to give him a tail on the back right here. Next, I'm gonna add some ears on the top of his head. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Now it's time to give him some color. First, let's color his body this bluish color, and we'll color the inside of his ears purple. Now let's color his teeth bright white, and I'll actually change the color of his body because it's not supposed to be dark like this. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the naughty ones look in game. Honestly, they pretty much look exactly the same as they do in game. The only thing that's really different is that we are seeing them in the light, which I'm not sure if that is even possible. The naughty ones are incredibly fast, as you can see, and this makes them actually pretty scary. Well, I don't know about scary, but they're sort of like a buff silverfish. The naughty ones also won't attack you when there's light around, but if you run into one of these guys in a cave, then you might be in trouble. I also gave the naughty ones a jumping attack animation, which is supposed to be like their jump scare, and if you manage to kill these guys, they drop an amethyst shard, and I don't really know why. I just picked it because it's purple. Overall, I think the naughty ones turned out exactly how they should have, so because of this, I'm going to give them a 10 out of 10 as well. The next character I'll make is Kittysaurus, and I'm gonna use a cat to make her because she is partially a cat. First, let's get rid of these legs, and we'll move these body parts and change the shape of her body. Next, we'll start to give her some feet down here, and we'll add some legs on top as well. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of her head as well. Next, I'm gonna give her some T-Rex arms like this, and I think this is looking pretty good. Now let's add some color. First, I'm gonna color her body an orangish color. Now let's color her feet white, and let's give her some teeth as well. And I think this is looking good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Kittysaurus looks in game. As you can see, she is massive. She also kind of looks more like a dog than a cat, but I guess that's fine. She still looks scary either way. Similar to the naughty ones, Kittysaurus is also incredibly fast, which makes it basically impossible to escape her. Fortunately, this is Garten of Banban 6 though, so we don't have to worry about her attacking us. Since Kittysaurus is part cat, I decided to make it so that you can tame her. And I decided to make it so that you tame her with rotten flesh because it just seems like an item that would be used to tame her. If you tame Kittysaurus, you are also able to ride her, although I'm not really sure if this is the right place to be riding on top of her. But it's still better than some of the mobs I've made, I guess. Overall, I think Kittysaurus looks pretty good, but she also looks a little bit like a dog. So because of this, I decided to give her a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Bitter Giggle, and I'll use a pillager to make him. First, let's remove some of the stuff we don't need, and we'll change the shape of his legs, and we'll also change his arms. Now let's start to shape his head a little bit like this, and we'll just color his body fully green for now. Next, I'm gonna split his body into two colors by making this side purple. Now let's add these spots on the purple side of his body like this. Next, I'm gonna give him a mouth like this. Now finally, let's give him some eyes, and I think this is good. Let's add Bitter Giggle to the game. This is how Bitter Giggle looks in game. I will say this is not one of my best mobs, but he is a pretty difficult character to make, as he has a lot of random parts extruding out of him for no reason. In the game, Bitter Giggle tries to fight Sir Dadadoo, so I made it so that they fight in Minecraft as well. Although it's pretty much the same outcome, there's no way Bitter Giggle will beat Sir Dadadoo. If you right-click on Bitter Giggle, I gave him a laughing animation because he likes to tell jokes, and right-clicking him also gives him a random chance to tell a joke as well. I sure hope nothing bad happens because of that. If you kill Bitter Giggle, he drops a clownfish because he's funny, and clowns are supposed to be funny. And overall, I think Bitter Giggle isn't the best looking mob, but I do like some of his features. So because of this, I'm going to give Bitter Giggle a 7 out of 10. Next, I made Tardigrade, and I made him from a horse. You'll see why. I got rid of all this stuff, colored him blue, and then I added his wings. I added Tardigrade to the game, and he actually looked pretty good, but I think there is something wrong with him. Yeah, for some reason he's kind of dirty, and water isn't fixing it. I figured out how to fix this, and he was actually looking really good, except for this one spot on his beak, but we'll ignore it. I decided to spawn a baby Tardigrade, and this is what he looked like. I like how he just follows the big one around, just like in the game. You're even able to put him on the big one's back as well. Oh wait, I guess he hasn't tamed him yet. In the actual game, you have to ride Tardigrade, so I decided to try that for myself. Why does he keep doing that when he kicks me off? It looks really weird. I'm honestly surprised with how perfect this looks. I mean, the legs look a little bit weird, but this looks really good. I'm even able to make Tardigrade jump. This is insane. I decided to give Tardigrade a 10 out of 10. Honestly, there was nothing bad about him at all. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Nabnaleena. I decided to make Nabnaleena from an iron golem. I colored her fully black, gave her a mouth, and finally I added her arms. Nabnaleena looks really good in game as well. The arms look kind of weird, but I think she's just asserting dominance. It's fine. Also, the legs are missing texture, but you didn't see that. This never happened. In the game, you have to inject Nabnaleena with some kind of chemicals to make her come to life, so I decided to try that in game. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be drinking it. I guess she isn't thirsty. Nabnaleena honestly looks pretty strong, so let's see if she can take out some pillagers. Okay, the pillagers don't really have a chance. They're getting destroyed. Yeah, Nabnaleena didn't take any damage, but we'll give her an iron ingot anyway. She deserves it. There isn't much to do with Nabnaleena, so I decided to make her ride Tardigrade. Okay, I might have done that backwards, but honestly, this is better. Tardigrade's legs probably needed a break anyway, although I'm not sure if Nabnaleena is able to see anymore. I decided to give Nabnaleena a 9 out of 10. It would have been a 10, but I can't look past the bra pose. It's too cursed. Next, I made Hijacked Banban. I made him from a zombie. I changed the shape of his body, colored him red, and then I gave him some eyes. After that, I added his mouth, gave him some horns, and added his feet. I added Hijacked Banban to the game, and he was honestly looking pretty scary. He also looks like Venom, or maybe that's just me. I always say things like this, and then they look nothing like it. Let's spawn a baby Banban. This guy's kinda fast. This would actually be scary if it was the real zombie. I decided to spawn a real Banban, and then I tested which one of them is the best Banban. Banban has a sword, so he probably wins this. Yeah, Hijacked Banban didn't stand a chance. Banban destroyed him. I spawned an army of Hijacked Banbans, and then I decided to get chased by them. Okay, he's not really that scary when he chases you at 0.1 miles per hour. The babies look kinda crazy though. I decided to give Hijacked Hijacked Banban a 9 out of 10. He looks really good. I'm just disappointed that he lost to real Banban. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Tomataki and Chamataki. I hope that's how you say it. For these guys I used a wolf. First I made their shell, and then I added the chameleon. I forgot which one he is. And after that I added the other guy. I added them to the game and they honestly didn't look the best, yet somehow this one took me the longest to make. They're also not really the right size. I'm pretty sure these guys are huge in the game. But I mean, it doesn't look that bad, right? I decided to spawn a baby one of them and it just made it even worse. Now they are microscopic. In the game, Chamataki attacks you with his tongue and I'm not really sure how to make that in Minecraft. So instead I decided to feed him some steak because I'm guessing he uses his tongue while eating. Tomataki shoots cyan balls from his mouth, so yeah. They can't be making that sound, I feel bad. I decided to tame one of these guys and then I made them fight a hijacked Banban. Okay, Banban lost again, he can't keep taking L's like this. I decided to give Tomataki and Chamataki a 5 out of 10, they just look kinda bad, that's all. It's time for the next mob. Next I decided to make Mr. Kebab Man, and I made him from an Enderman cause they're kinda built the same. I deleted everything, colored him gray, and then I gave him some arms. After that I added his eyes, put the bandage thing on the back, and gave him his party hats. I added Mr. Kebab Man to the game and he honestly wasn't looking that bad. I mean, I don't know if he was looking good, but he's definitely not bad. I like how when he walks he actually looks good because I removed the legs. In the game, Mr. Kebab Man is supposed to mimic Banban, so I decided to see if he can take out Hijacked Banban as well. Come on, Hijacked Banban, you got this one, no more L's. Okay, I'm done with Hijacked Banban, he's never winning a fight. I decided to visit the end to find more Mr. Kebab Mans, and then I did what I always do. It's kinda scary how they just like hover to me. I think I made a little too many of them angry. I decided to give Mr. Kebab Man a 7 out of 10. He doesn't look that bad, but he also doesn't look that good. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Stinger Flynn. I decided to make him from an Elder Guardian. I removed all this stuff, colored him orange, and then I added the spot around his eye. Next I added his eye, gave him some legs, and then extended the legs out a bit. Stinger Flynn actually looks pretty good this time around. He's a lot better than the old one I had. He is also a lot bigger because apparently Stinger Flynn isn't tiny. Since Stinger Flynn is jumping around like this, I decided to spawn him in the water. Bro was just going crazy on the squids. What did the squids do to him? He honestly looks pretty good in the water. There is one thing wrong though. His legs are definitely supposed to move, but I don't really know how to do that, so it's fine. Stinger Flynn was driving when they were all going to the beach, so I decided to see if he can drive a car. Okay, I don't really think he's able to drive the car. He's not moving. He's also way bigger than the car. You can't even really see it. He doesn't really want to get in a boat either. I guess this guy doesn't like vehicles. In the game, you also get to play as Stinger Flynn, so I decided to give that one a try. He's kind of just vibing. Not much is really getting done. This is boring. I decided to give Stinger Flynn a 9 out of 10. If his legs moved, it would be a 10, but unfortunately, that's never gonna happen. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Queen Bouncelia. I used a Hoglin to make her. I colored her body purple, gave her a face, and then added her wand. I added her to the game, and her head was looking kind of broken, so I decided to fix that. Okay, that's still a little messed up, but it's good enough. Also, her feet are both on the same leg, but I'm not fixing that. Only one fix per mob. Since Queen Bouncelia was made from a Hoglin, I decided to go find her in the Nether. I'm not usually a fan of these guys because they like to hit you from far away, but I guess for Queen Bouncelia, I'll make an exception. I decided to spawn an army of Queen Bouncelias, and then I made them all chase me. Hopefully this doesn't happen in the actual game, because these guys are kind of scary. Also, their legs look kind of funny. I'm going to give Queen Bouncelia an 8 out of 10. Other than the broken stuff, she looks pretty good. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made an Opilichick. I used a parrot to make the Opilichick, and I decided to make the shiny one, or whatever you would call it. You probably wouldn't call it shiny, it's not a Pokemon. The Opilichicks are so tiny in game, and they actually kind of sound like the chicks from the actual game. I'm pretty sure dodo birds can't fly, so that's kind of a problem, but other than that, they look great. In the game, you have to abduct all the Opilichicks and move them to their beds, so I decided to try that in Minecraft as well. What? Who is this? Where did the Opilichick go? That was interesting, but I mean it worked. I can also spawn a baby Opilibird, and it kinda looks like the default Opilichick texture. Although this one isn't as cool, all I can really do is feed it a bunch of seeds. Oh, that's not an Opilichick anymore. In Garden of Banban 2, there are 6 Opilichicks, and in the first game, you feed Opilibird 6 eggs, so there's definitely some interesting birth methods going on there, so let's test to see if this is true. Wait, it actually worked. I decided to give the Opilichick a 10 out of 10. Overall, it looks really good, and you are even able to keep one of these as a pet. Wait, my bad, Opilibird, I didn't know. Next, I'm going to make Slow Celine. Since Slow is literally in her name, I made her from a turtle. I gave her a big green shell, added her long neck, and then I gave her some bright white teeth. After that, I added her 2 large eyes, and I drew a swirl on each side of her shell. I think she turned out pretty good. The eyes and the mouth are really creepy, just like in the actual game. Let's see a baby Slow Celine. I like how it's just a really small version of the regular one. In the actual game, Slow Celine chases you down a hallway, so I decided to add that as well. Okay, this is actually kind of scary. She's just slowly approaching. She is also not looking away, so I guess I have to keep standing still. Because I made Slow Celine from a turtle, I can also put her in the water and she will be fine. Okay, she's not really that slow anymore. Imagine going to the beach and there was just a massive snail swimming around in the water. Probably happens in Florida. I decided to give Slow Celine a 9 out of 10. She looks really good in game, but she's kind of boring in general. It's time for the next mob. In the game, there are 7 different Fiddles crew members, so I made all of those next. I used a strider to make them all, and first I made brown Fiddles. This is the actual color used in the game. I don't really know how this is brown. Next I made cyan Fiddles, and there is a giant version of him in the game, but I don't know how to make that, so instead I just made a giant stack of cyan Fiddles. I'm sure the ones on the top are fine. Next I made emerald Fiddles, and this is him in game, and then I made orange Fiddles. Orange Fiddles only has 1 tooth. I wonder what happened to the other one. Pink Fiddles has 2 teeth, and apparently he is dead in the game, so I'm just gonna have to. Next I made red Fiddles, and he is my favorite because his eyes just stay like this forever. Like, how is he able to see anything? Here's me riding a red Fiddles as well. He honestly looks better than the actual strider. The last Fiddles is yellow Fiddles, who apparently has a pirate-like appearance because of his missing eye. So cause of this, I am kidnapping him in a boat. I'm going to give the Fiddles a 63 out of 10. There's 7 of them, so they get 7x the score. Next I made Sheriff Toadster. I made him a frog because that's probably what he is. I changed the shape of his body, colored him the same color as the McDonald's villain, and made his weird shaped head. Next I added his teeth, and I gave him his badge on his chest. Finally I colored in his belly, and gave him this little hat on top of his eye. I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't really look like he's smiling. Instead he looks like the bully from Arthur. His arms are also completely broken. I'm pretty sure I attached them to his legs. Sheriff Toadster probably fights crime, so I'm going to steal No Pillow Chick in front of him and see what he does. He doesn't appear to be doing too much. He is jumping really high though. He definitely made it through police training. Maybe an army of Toadsters will stop me. I already knew they wouldn't. I don't know why I did this. Oh, I guess Sheriff Toadster is hungry. I'm going to give Sheriff Toadster a 7 out of 10. He looks kind of weird, honestly. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Nab Nab. I made Nab Nab from a spider because he kind of looks like a spider. I gave him some long legs and arms, changed the shape of his body, and then I colored him fully blue. After that I gave him some teeth, then I added his tongue, and finally I gave him 3 eyes. Okay, I don't think his legs are supposed to look like that. I fixed his legs, and then he looked a lot better in game. Well, I don't know about better, but putting him sideways actually makes him look scary. In the game, you get chased by Nab Nab, so I decided to try that in Minecraft. Yeah, this is definitely not something you want chasing you. It just looks so weird because in the actual game, he's on the roof and not on the ground. Nab Nab is also supposed to have a birthday hat, and I didn't even notice, so we'll just pretend I added a hat. Also, if you can't tell, Nab Nab is Ban spelt backwards, so because of that, you should eat Dirkbus. But I decided to get Sheriff Toadster to lock him up for good. He sure won't be escaping this jail, especially not through the vents. I decided to give Nab Nab a 6 out of 10. He looks kinda cursed. I'm sorry, Nab Nab, I meant 10, I swear. Next, I decided to make Zolphius. I don't know what Zolphius is, but he's big, so I made him from a ghast. Zolphius is just a circle with a face that looks like it was drawn by a 1-year-old, so I decided to do that. The only difference is I'm not 1 years old, I think. I added Zolphius to the game, and it kinda reminds me of when I made Ambush. They look very similar. I would have to say that Zolphius is scarier though. It's something about the amazing art skill required to make his face. I decided to visit the Nether to find a wild Zolphius. He kinda looks like a ping pong paddle, so let's see who will win a game of ping pong, me or Zolphius. I don't think he wanted to play. I wonder what it will look like if I fill the whole sky with Zolphiuses. Yeah, this is a pretty good Minecraft experience. I literally cannot hear anything. I'm going to give Zolphius an 8 out of 10. He's a big flying drawing. How bad could he be? It's time for the next mob. Next, I'm making Mini Josh. It is unknown if Mini Josh will be hostile, but I'm assuming he is, so I made him from a silverfish because they are small and hostile. I deleted all of these things, added his legs, made his body bigger, and then I gave him some arms. After that, I added his head, colored him fully green, and then I added his eyes. Mini Josh looks like he's sad, so I gave him a sad mouth, and then I added him to the game. I was surprised with how he looks in game. All this waddling looks pretty weird. Also, none of his body parts move, which makes him look pretty bad. I decided to spawn Mini Josh with Jumbo Josh, and what happened next was shocking. I'm just kidding, you probably expected this. Next, I spawned an army of Mini Joshes, and then I made them fight Jumbo Josh. This is like a Mr. Beast Beast video, 100 kids versus 1 adult. Mini Joshes could actually win this one, there's a lot of them. Never mind, Jumbo Josh seems to be invincible. I decided to give Mini Josh a 5 out of 10, he's kinda missing a lot of things, like moving arms and legs. It's time for the next mob. You're probably wondering where Jumbo Josh came from. I used the Warden to make Jumbo Josh, and I gave him a big head, a creepy mouth, and then I added some green texture all around him. Jumbo Josh is massive in game, and he actually looks really good as the Warden. Jumbo Josh also tells kids to eat fruits and vegetables to become strong like him, but honestly, I wouldn't let him near your kids. I went to the deep dark to see Jumbo Josh emerge from the ground, and then I fed him some fruit and vegetables like he says. Unfortunately, Jumbo Josh didn't want to eat the food, and instead he wanted to eat me. I would say that I killed him to try and make myself look cool, but let's be honest, we all know what happened. I'm going to give Jumbo Josh a 10 out of 10, and that has nothing to do with him holding me hostage. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Ban Ban. I made Ban Ban from a wither skeleton. I colored him fully red, gave him some eyes and a mouth, and then I added his big tongue. I then gave him his birthday hats on his head, and finally I changed his arms a little bit. Apparently changing his arms a little bit didn't matter though, because they fully disappeared in the game. Oh wait, they're inside of him. I decided to fix his arms, and this is how Ban Ban looks in game. I decided to visit the Nether to try and find Ban Ban myself. Ignore the Netherrack, I don't know how this got here. When you think of it, Ban Ban is a devil, so he's supposed to be in the Nether. Wait guys, I was just kidding, I didn't say that. To make things a little more cursed, I decided to replace all the heads on the Wither with the Ban Ban heads. Now let's see who will win, the Ban Ban, Wither, or Jumbo Josh. Why is Jumbo Josh not fighting back? Okay, now he's going crazy. Alright, Jumbo Josh couldn't do anything, Ban Ban was flying. I decided to give Ban Ban a 6 out of 10, he doesn't look that great. It's time for the next mob. Next, let's make Banbalina. I used a wither skeleton for Ban Ban, so I made Banbalina from a skeleton. I copy pasted all of Ban Ban's body parts onto her, and then I colored her fully white. Next, I gave her some eyes and drew her mouth, and then finally I added her pink bow on her horn thing. I forgot Banbalina also had a problem with her arms, so I had to fix it again. This is how Banbalina looks in game, she kinda looks like a weird bunny. I then spawned a Banbalina army and made them fight Jumbo Josh. Okay, they're all just fighting each other. Yeah, Jumbo Josh wins this easily. Banbalina is cool, but look at me spawning a bunch of crows. I then made Ban Ban fight Banbalina to see who would win. I'm sorry, Banbalina, I kind of already knew what would happen. I decided to give Banbalina a 5 out of 10. It's not because I don't like her, it's just because I don't like her. Next, I made Opilabird. I used a chicken to make Opilabird, and I gave her a long neck, some purple wings, and a yellow beak. I then added these creepy looking eyes to her and added her to the game. Opilabird actually looks pretty good as well, but the baby, not so much. At least I don't have to worry about her chasing me though, because she's a chicken. Well, she'll chase me, but she's not gonna do anything, I think. In the game, Opilabird is supposed to fall into the ball pit, so I decided to test if she would survive a massive fall in Minecraft. She made it to the ground without taking damage. There is a minigame where you have to feed Opilabird 6 eggs, so I added that to the game as well. Kind of. I tried to swap Jumbo Josh and Opilabird's textures around to make a joke, but this just happened. Opilabird says laughter is the best medicine, so I'm asking you to laugh at that joke. Do it for her, not for me. I decided to give Opilabird an 8 out of 10 because she can't harm me for my opinion. Okay, really? Next, I made Captain Fiddles. I made Captain Fiddles from a Strider. First, I shrunk his legs and made his body smaller. Next, I colored him fully blue and I gave him a mouth and some eyes. Then finally, I added some arms and some hands. Captain Fiddles actually looks pretty good in game, other than the fact that his legs aren't attached. Also, he's a really good method of transportation. Okay, well, he's not that good. He's kind of slow, honestly. You can even spawn a baby Captain Fiddles for whatever reason. His legs are even more broken, but it's fine. It is said that Captain Fiddles is known for his love of music, so I decided to play a song for him. This was really bad. It's supposed to be the Rickroll song. Sorry. To test if Captain Fiddles is a real captain, I decided to give him control of a boat. I'm going to give Captain Fiddles a 9 out of 10 because there isn't that much wrong with him. I added every monster from Rainbow Friends Chapter 2 to Minecraft. First, I made Cyan, and I used a Ravager because they look exactly the same. I removed this stuff, colored her cyan, and gave her some eyes. I added Cyan to the game, and she was actually looking pretty good. Oh wait, she's attacking all the villagers. I don't really want her to be doing that. That also made me notice that her legs look really bad when she's running, but other than that, she looks fine. She also has a really big shadow. That looks kind of funny. In the game, you get chased by Cyan, so I decided to see how that looks in Minecraft. Cyan is really fast in the actual game, and she's also pretty fast in Minecraft too, so that's pretty accurate. Okay, this is actually kind of scary. She looks really hungry. Oh wow, she also does a lot of damage. I can't let her hit me again. That would be bad. Since Cyan does so much damage, I decided to see if she can beat an iron golem in a fight. Okay, I don't even have to use the stick. They're already mad. Come on, Cyan. You can beat this guy easily. Okay, never mind. I was wrong. It looks like the iron golem can beat Cyan easily. Oh wait, why did she drop a saddle? That's kind of weird. I decided to give Cyan a 9 out of 10. She looks really good, and her chase in Minecraft is really accurate. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Yellow, and I decided to use a hoglin to make him. I shrunk his whole body, colored him yellow, and gave him his propeller thing on his back. I added Yellow to the game, and I can't really tell if he looks good or bad. To be fair, Yellow is quite hard to make, so this honestly doesn't look that bad. He also has a big shadow just like Cyan. That's really weird. Since hoglins can't live in the overworld, I decided to go to the nether to find a wild yellow. Okay, here's a group of yellows that I definitely didn't spawn in. I found them naturally. Oh yeah, there's also a baby yellow, but I think something is wrong with him. Let me know in the comments if you can tell what's wrong with him. It's kind of hard to see. Since Yellow is supposed to be able to fly, I decided to see if I can make Yellow fly in Minecraft as well. Okay, now you might think hoglins can't fly, but there's actually a secret in Minecraft where if you look at the ground for 3 seconds and then look all the way up as fast as you can make all the hoglins start to fly. It's definitely not a command, it's just a secret feature. I decided to give Yellow an 8 out of 10. He doesn't look that bad, he's just really hard to make. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Pink, and I made Pink from a zombie. I bent his legs, colored him pink, and gave him some eyes. Finally I colored in his eyes, gave him a mouth, and then I added some small cheeks. I added Pink to the game and he was burning. Okay, I should probably fix that. When Pink is not burning, he actually looks pretty good. There is a slight problem with his legs, they aren't really connected, but other than that, I'm not seeing anything wrong with him. Since Pink was supposed to be added to the game, I decided to make him battle Cyan and Yellow to get a spot in the game. First, we'll do Cyan versus Pink. Okay, that was kind of embarrassing. I don't think he even hit her. What about Yellow versus Pink? Okay, this fight is actually looking a little close. And Pink still died. I guess we know why he was benched from both chapters. I decided to spawn a baby Pink to see what he looks like, and he looked about the same as the big one. I will say the baby one runs a lot faster than the big one though. This guy is going crazy. I decided to give Pink a 9 out of 10. He honestly turned out pretty good, other than his legs. That's the only problem. It's time for the next mob. Next we'll make Orange, and we will make him from a wolf. Let's change the shape of his tail, and we'll rotate his body. Now let's give him some arms, and we'll give him some teeth. Okay, these are way too big. That looks better. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys see the problem here. That should be good enough. Okay, his head definitely does not work though. I guess wolves bend their head a lot. Let's spawn a baby Orange. It's the same thing with a bigger head. Let's try to tame Orange. Yeah, this is perfectly normal. Nothing is wrong here. Now he just has a big red square and his tail is broken. Let's spawn an army of oranges, and let's see them take down a skeleton. Okay, the skeleton got eaten in like 2 seconds. Come on, Orange, take down the warden. Oh no, that was fast. Alright, I'm going to give Orange a 6 out of 10. He was kinda cursed. It's time for the next mob. Next, we are going to make Purple, and we are going to make him from a frog. Let's delete all this stuff, and we'll change the shape of his body. Now let's color him purple. Now let's extend out his head, and we'll make it a little bit round. Now finally, let's give him some eyes, and we'll add some black pupils inside. Out of all the mobs to break, somehow this one isn't broken. Surprisingly, I think he looks really good. Okay, these vines need to get out of the way. What about a baby Purple? Oh yeah, frogs don't have babies. Let's see Purple eat this slime. Never mind, he's not hungry. Oh, never mind, he just attacked him. He looks so weird when he's swimming. Let's spawn an army of purples. Wow, Purple jumps so high. The noise they make is really interesting. Let's see if Purple can take down Orange. Okay, I don't think Purple knows how to fight. Let's spawn a bunch of slimes. Okay, they're all too big. I love how there's no animation, the slime just travels to their mouth. Alright, I'm going to give Purple a 10 out of 10. I thought he looked really funny. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Red, and we are going to make him from a strider. Let's remove his hair, and we'll shrink his body. Now let's make him a bit shorter, and we'll color his head red, and let's color his pupils black, and finally we'll give him a couple shoes, and I think that looks good. Let's see him in game. Okay, something is definitely wrong with his legs, but other than that, I think he looks good. Oh god, why does it take so long for his legs to turn? Let's go to the nether, and here we have a Red walking on some lava. Okay, seriously, what happened to his legs? It's like they're backwards or something. I mean, now they're on the right side, but somehow that made it worse. Okay, that's close enough. We're just gonna ignore that. Let's ride a Red. Wait, this is the wrong fishing rod. Okay, this looks weird like it usually does. Let's see a baby Red. Okay, baby Red just has no legs. Let's spawn an army of Reds. Okay, Red army, follow me. Isn't this weird? Because Red is supposed to tell me what to do. Alright, I'm going to give Red an 8 out of 10. He looked pretty good. It's time for the next mob. Next, we'll make Green, and we will make him from the Warden. Let's shrink his body and head. Now let's color him fully green, and we'll color the back of his mouth black. Next, let's give him a bunch of white teeth, and we'll copy these to the top. Next, we'll extend out his eyes, and we'll make his eyes circular. Now, finally, let's draw his pupils, and that looks good. Let's see it in game. I don't know how I feel about this one. There's something about the way he moves that is very terrifying. He's also very tall. I'm not sure if that's accurate. I'm not going to lie, he kind of looks like a cactus monster. Let's find green in the deep dark. Of course, we have to see him emerge from the ground. I'm not gonna lie, that might be scarier than the Warden. I wonder how this thing looks when it's angry. We'll give him a sheep that he can't hit. I'm sorry, sheep. Okay, that wasn't that cool. Let's spawn an army of greens, and let's see if the Flash can beat them. Oh, he's running at him. Yeah, the Flash will not win that. I give the green rainbow friend a 10 out of 10. He's honestly scarier than the Warden. It's time for the next mob. Next, we are going to make blue, and we are going to make him from an iron golem. Let's make his arms a bit smaller, and we'll do the same for his legs. Now let's change the shape of his body, and we'll color him fully blue. Now let's add his crown, and we'll color it yellow. Next, we'll add the spiky parts on top, and we'll add his eyes, and let's put the circle inside this one, and we'll add the X to the other one. Now let's draw his mouth, and we'll put the drool on the side, and I think that looks pretty good. Let's see it in game. That looks pretty good, I think. Let's see if blue can beat Gordon Ramsay easily. Let's see if blue can beat Thor and Gordon Ramsay. Still too easy. Let's see if blue can beat Sully. Yeah, blue literally had no chance. Let's spawn an army of blues. Oh no. Oh god, this is bad. I think I spawned a little too many. There's so many of them, they can't even move. Sully's not even fighting back. He knows he's doomed. Never mind. Wow, he actually almost beat them. Well, he almost beat like 3% of them. I'm going to give blue a 10 out of 10. I think he looks perfect. I added every fan-made Garden of Banban monster to Minecraft. First, I made Admiral Krusty, and I'm using a spider for him because crabs are kind of like spiders. I deleted these things, colored him red, and then I added his claws. I added Admiral Krusty to the game, and he was honestly looking pretty good. I think this is probably one of my best looking mobs I've made so far. This actually looks a lot like him. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to have boots on his back legs though, so that's not good. But other than that, he looks great. I decided to spawn an army of Admiral Krusties, and then I got them all to chase me. I don't know why, but this actually looks kind of scary, and I'm not just saying that. It's something about the way their legs move. These are probably just the crabs getting revenge for being locked in a tank at the grocery store. Since Admiral Krusty is a water mob, I decided to see if he can beat a guardian in a fight. Come on, Admiral Krusty, you're the king of the water. You got this. Okay, this fight is taking a really long time. What is going on? And after all that, he still didn't win. I guess Admiral Krusty isn't the king of the water. He lost to a regular guardian, not even an elder guardian. I decided to give Admiral Krusty a 10 out of 10. I really like how he looks. He's one of my favorite mobs so far. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Mr. Grimm, and I used a warden to make him because I felt like it. I don't know why. I changed the shape of his body, colored him black, and added some ear things to the side of his head. Next, I gave him a mouth, added some eyes, and gave him teeth. Okay, I don't know why, but he looked really weird before, so I changed everything, and now he looks a lot better. I added Mr. Grimm to the game, and he actually looked kind of scary, but not in a good way. I don't know why, but this dude kind of looks like Santa. I think it's his mouth. It kind of looks like it's supposed to be a beard. I decided to go to the deep dark, and then I made a Mr. Grimm emerge from the ground. Mr. Grimm is a magician, so it makes sense for him to do that. It's honestly a pretty good magic trick. I never even noticed this before, but his animations don't really fit him. It kind of looks broken. I decided to spawn an army of Mr. Grimms, and then I did the usual. Oh no, they're angry. Why do these guys look so weird when they chase you? Like, look at their head. What is going on? Maybe I should have connected their head to the body, because that looks really weird. I decided to give Mr. Grimm a 7 out of 10. I'm not really sure if he looks good or not. He looks kind of weird. It's time for the next mob. Next, I decided to make Nighty Boo, and I used a phantom to make him because a bat is a little too small. I changed the shape of his body, colored him green, and then I added his ears. Next, I added his hat, gave him some eyes, and then I made his other face on the bottom. I added Nighty Boo to the game, and I honestly can't really tell if he looks good or not. It's very hard to see his faces. Okay, I guess that looks pretty good. I'm not sure if he really matches the actual Nighty Boo, though. I also don't know why he has these particles on his wings. I guess I'm not up to date on phantom lore. All I know about phantoms is that they're very annoying. Since phantoms like to fight, let's see if Nighty Boo can beat Admiral Krusty. Okay, I'm not really sure if this is supposed to happen. He's just flying up in the air. Okay, I guess Nighty Boo doesn't want to fight. He only fights humans. I spawned an army of Nighty Boos, and then I tested to see how fast they can kill me. Okay, why is it actually kind of hard to dodge them when there's this many? I must have not slept for weeks, because this many phantoms is absurd. Wait, I think I found a way to beat them. They can't catch me. I decided to give Nighty Boo an 8 out of 10. He looks pretty good, but he doesn't really look like the actual Nighty Boo. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Patched Willy, and I didn't really know what to use for this one, so I just used the Ender Dragon. I deleted all this stuff, shaped him into a worm, and then I added his tongue. After that, I colored him in, gave him some spikes, and added all of his eyes. I added Patched Willy to the game, and I don't really know what happened to him. How did he get this tail and neck? That definitely wasn't there on Blockbench. It would definitely make him look a lot better though if only the tail had purple on it too. I will say this guy kinda reminds me of when I made PJ Pugapillar. They're just so similar because of the stripes. There isn't really much you can do with Patched Willy other than wait for him to perch. That actually looks kinda good when he turns around, other than the parts with both colors. And he also looks like he's doing the worm when he's perched, so that definitely fits him. Since there isn't anything to do with Patched Willy, I decided to see if Mr. Grimm can kill him. Okay, I don't really know if he knows where Patched Willy is. He doesn't seem to be attacking him. Yeah, I can't even make them fight with the wand. This is unfortunate. I decided to give Patched Willy a 5 out of 10. He doesn't really look right, and he's also really boring. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Admiral Krusty's crew member, and I made him from an iron golem because he looks kinda buff. I changed his body, colored him blue, and then I gave him new arms. After that, I added his beak, gave him an eye patch, and then I added his other eye. I added him to the game, and he didn't really look that good. I mean, he doesn't really look that bad either, but he just doesn't look like the guy in the picture. He looks way less scary. He also kinda looks like that bean guy. I don't know what his name is. Since this guy doesn't have a name, or at least I don't think he does, I'm going to call him Crewmate Chicken, because he kinda looks like a chicken, if that's what he's supposed to be. Since a Guardian killed Admiral Krusty earlier, I decided to see if Crewmate Chicken could avenge him. Okay, he easily killed him. I see why this guy is on Admiral Krusty's crew, but since he's only a crew member, let's see if he can beat Admiral Krusty in a fight. Okay, he can easily do that. I don't see why this guy isn't the captain. I decided to give Crewmate Chicken an 8 out of 10. He doesn't look perfect, but he also isn't that bad. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Doom Doom, and we'll use a Ravager to make him. I shrunk his legs, changed his arms, and then I shaped his head. Next, I colored him yellow, gave him some hair, and added his eyes. I added Doom Doom to the game, and he was actually looking pretty good. He looks really angry, and I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a bull, so that's probably accurate. Bulls are always angry for some reason. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be moving a lot faster though. The actual Doom Doom charges at the speed of light, but maybe it's because he has no one to charge at yet, so let's get him to charge me. I think I'm supposed to be holding out red wool to make him mad. Okay, I was right, now he's a lot faster. Also, his head is really glitchy, but we'll just ignore that. I already said he looked good. I decided to spawn a Smiley Miley, and then I tested to see who would win in a fight. I don't really think Smiley Miley has any chance. Doom Doom is huge. Look at his head when he attacks. It looks so weird. Yeah, Doom Doom barely took any damage. I guess he's just too OP. I decided to give Doom Doom a 9 out of 10. I really liked how he turned out. He's a scary looking bull. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Hungry Tammy, and we'll make him from a wither. I removed all this stuff, shrunk his head, and then I colored him blue. Next, I added his tongue, gave him some eyes, and added his arms. I added Hungry Tammy to the game, and he was actually looking pretty scary. He probably shouldn't be going on a rampage like this, but I guess it fits his character. Also, his legs shouldn't be floating. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to walk. But other than that list of things that are wrong, he actually looks pretty good. Oh wait, there's also another problem. Apparently his head isn't connected. Since Hungry Tammy is probably really hungry, it says it in his name, I decided to give him some food next. Okay, I don't think he wants to eat the food. What about in living form? Okay, that's much better. Now he's eating. I decided to spawn a Doom Doom, and then I made him fight Hungry Tammy to see who would win. Okay, this is probably the most unfair fight yet. Doom Doom has no way of attacking him. He's taking a lot of hits though. He seems pretty strong. Rip Doom Doom, but if you think of it, he is just a giant cow, so that's probably why he lost. I decided to give Hungry Tammy a 9 out of 10. He looks really good, but his legs shouldn't be floating. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Zolflina, and we already have Zolfius, so we're just gonna use this. I colored her pink, added some outlines on her eyes and mouth, and then I gave her a bow. I added Zolflina to the game, and she was honestly looking pretty good. It's kinda hard for her not to look good though. She's not really a hard monster to make. I will say that her eyes are a little messed up though. I don't remember it looking like this in Blockbench. Also, I don't know why every time I try to look at her, she looks away. It's really annoying. Since Hungry Tammy is in the screenshot with Zolflina, I decided to make them fight. Okay, I don't think Hungry Tammy is able to fight, and also Zolflina's fireballs do no damage, so this fight will literally go on forever. Or maybe they're just friends and it's supposed to be like this. I went to the nether to find a wild Zolflina, and she honestly looks a lot better in the nether. Her color seems to blend in a lot better here. And then I spawned an army of Zolflinas, and I made them attack me. I don't know why I do this every time. They're just bullying me at this point. I decided to give Zolflina an 8 out of 10. She looks how she's supposed to, but I don't know how much I like her. Next, I made Smiley Miley, and I used an Enderman because she's really tall. I changed her body, colored her blue, and finally I gave her some eyes. Smiley Miley ended up looking really good in game. Well, her face is a little creepy, but I'm still calling it good. Oh, her legs also don't seem to be attached when she walks, but it's fine. She still looks good. Since I made her from an Enderman, I decided to look her in the eyes, and then this happened. Okay, I think there is something wrong with her head, but I can't really tell what. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Please stop. I decided to go to the end to find some more Smiley Smiley Mileys, and then I obviously got them to chase me. When will I stop getting mobs to chase me? Probably never. I decided to give Smiley Miley an 8 out of 10. She looks good, but she was a little broken. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Sharky Clee, and I used a warden to make him. First I changed his body, then I colored him black, and finally I added the fins on his head. I added Sharky Clee to the game, and he actually ended up looking pretty scary, which is good because I made him from a warden. I decided to go to the deep dark to find Sharky Clee, and then I watched him emerge from the ground. I feel like this guy should be the actual warden. He seems to fit the job perfectly. I spawned an army of Sharky Clees, and then I got them all to chase me. What a nice day to go for a swim. I hope there aren't any sharks out here. Wait, where did they go? Oh, there they are. I went too far. I probably should have stayed away though. This isn't looking good. I decided to give Sharky Clee a 10 out of 10. He honestly looks really good. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Slime Rancher, and I used a slime to make him because it's in his name. First I made him bigger, then I colored him a different green, and finally I gave him some eyes. I've never remade a slime before, so hopefully this works. Oh, it actually worked. I didn't expect that. And I didn't expect him to be this big. I think this is the biggest mob I've made yet. Oh, I guess we'll ignore the back here. I didn't realize that would happen. Mojang should change the real slimes to this guy. If he was in the game, I would never enter a super flat world again. I spawned an army of slime ranchers, and it was actually pretty cool because of the different sizes of slimes. I feel like the small one is the size I thought it would be. I also spawned a really big slime rancher, and this looks like something from a really bad horror movie. Pro is terrorizing the city. I decided to see if Slime Rancher could beat Smiley Miley because I honestly didn't know. Okay, it looks like Slime Rancher just doesn't attack. That's unfortunate. And the babies don't want to avenge him either. RIP. I decided to give Slime Rancher a 10 out of 10. He looked really good, especially the massive one. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Sad Seth, and I decided to use a wither skeleton for this one. I changed the shape of his body, colored him red, and then I gave him some extra arms. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if I like this guy that much. The bottom eyes kind of look out of place, and also the sword he is holding just shouldn't be there. Actually, I can get rid of the sword. I forgot. It doesn't make him much better though. You're not even able to see some of his arms. Also, when he walks, his arms go through his body. That's great. Okay, I'm just hating. It's time to move on. Let's see if Sad Seth can beat Smiley Miley in a fight. I honestly think Sad Seth should win this one because he is a wither. Okay, it appears I'm wrong. Smiley Miley is just built different. I'm sorry, Sad Seth, but I gotta do it. You let me down. I decided to give Sad Seth a 6 out of 10. He looks fine, but he's just too broken. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Froggy Quack, and I decided to make him from an iron golem. First I changed his body, next I colored him green, and finally I added his head on the top. Okay, he actually looks a lot better than I thought he would. I thought for sure the head on top would look weirder. I will say the iron golem animations actually fit him pretty well too. Nothing is broken. But I don't know, he's kind of a weird looking monster in general, so I'm not gonna say he looks perfect. I decided to spawn a Sharky Clee, and then both of them started fighting before I even did anything. I thought these guys would be friends. I wasn't trying to make them fight. I decided to spawn 5 Froggy Quacks, and then I made them all fight Sharky Clee for revenge. I'm not gonna lie, I still don't know if these guys can win. They're kind of getting destroyed. Yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good. Come on, Froggy Quack. Okay, I guess 6 Froggy Quacks isn't enough to take out Sharky Clee. I decided to give Froggy Quack an 8 out of 10. He didn't look that bad, but he wasn't the best either. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Whaley Bow. I made him from a pillager. I shrunk his limbs, colored him blue, and then I gave him some eyes. I added Whaley Bow to the game, and he seemed kind of scared. Like, why is he just aiming his bow at me? Oh, it's probably because Sharky Clee is right there, and sharks eat whales. But honestly, I can't really tell if this guy looks good or bad. Like, he looks like the picture, so that's good. But he also kind of looks like a weird cartoon character, and I'm not sure if he's supposed to be like that. I decided to spawn an army of Whaley Bows, and then I spawned 1 Froggy Quack to see if they can kill him. Alright, Whaley Bow already lost to the shark, but can he beat the frog? Okay, I'm not really sure if they can do it. They're just shooting each other instead of him. He seems to be taking damage really fast though, so it's possible that they could win. No way, the whales actually did it. Maybe they aren't so bad after all. I decided to give Whaley Bow an 8 out of 10. It would have been lower, but I raised it because they defeated Froggy Quack. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Toxic Gazer, and I made him from a witch because they like to throw poison. I changed his arms a bit, gave him a longer neck, and then I colored him green. Next I gave him an eye, and finally I added these weird things that hang off his face. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about this guy. His face looks kind of weird. I think it's the things that are hanging off his head. They don't look anything like the actual monster. I will say the rest of him looks pretty accurate though. Since Toxic Gazer is toxic, let's see him throw a bottle of poison at me. That's not poison, that's slowness. Oh wait, there we go. That was kind of rude. Don't worry, I got him back. Wait, why is he drinking Zolphius juice? What is going on? I decided to spawn a Whaley Bow, bow, and then I made them fight to see who would win. This is such a weird fight because neither of them can melee, but it looks like Toxic Gazer is gonna lose. He seems to have no interest in the fight anymore. Okay, this just isn't ending. I guess it's a tie. I decided to give Toxic Gazer a 6 out of 10. I didn't really like the way he looked. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Chili. I decided to use a creeper for Chili. First, I removed his head. Next, I colored him blue, and then I gave him a mouth. After that, I added his eye, gave him some teeth, and finally I added his horns. I added Chili to the game, and he actually looked really good. I kind of expected this guy to look bad because he looks really goofy in general, but he might be one of my favorites so far. I will say that his red nose is really bothering me though. It makes him look like a clown. Since Chili is a creeper, I decided to see a supercharged Chili next. Okay, the charge isn't really meant for him. This is kind of cursed. I decided to spawn a Toxic Gazer, and then I tested to see if a regular Chili can kill him. Okay, he actually survived, and I respect it, honestly. He just stood there and took the blast. He didn't even try to run. I decided to give Chili a 10 out of 10. I don't know why, but I really like him. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Evil Zolphius. I already have Zolphius, so I just removed his old face, added some white eyes, and gave him a way scarier mouth. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure regular Zolphius is evil already, so this guy must be a menace. I'm scared of what he'll do to me for even looking at him, but I will say he actually looks really good. I think the red under his eyes made him look a lot better. This also reminds me of some of the Doors monsters I made because a lot of them look like this. I decided to go to the Nether to find an evil Zolphius, and then I decided to have a ping pong match with him. Okay, that wasn't really fair. He was stuck in the ground. I spawned an army of evil Zolphiuses, and then I decided to see how long it would take them to kill me. Okay, off to a good start. They already hit me. This looks like something you would find in your house at 3 a.m. Okay, I'm dead, but that actually took a while. These guys kind of suck. I decided to give evil Zolphius an 8 out of 10. He looks pretty good, but I think I prefer normal Zolphius. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Sandy Jax, and I used a frog to make him because why not? I got rid of all this stuff, expanded his body, and then I colored him brown. I added Sandy Jax to the game, and I'm not gonna lie, he was looking kind of strange. This guy looks kind of like a Diglett with a crown, and I don't know why, but he also looks like some kind of Burger King mascot. Oh, and he could also look like Mr. Potato Head, I guess. At least he can jump high. That is something good about him. I decided to spawn a baby Sandy Jax, which isn't a real thing, and then I spawned a tiny slime rancher for him to eat. Wow, he ate that thing instantly. I guess he was hungry. I decided to give Sandy Jax a 5 out of 10. I don't really like him. He looks weird. Next, I made Hunky Jake, and I used a warden. I changed the shape of his body, colored him pink, and then I added his hat. I added Hunky Jake to the game, and he was actually looking pretty good. Okay, maybe his animations don't really match him, but if he isn't moving, he looks fine. I also just noticed that his head keeps going into his body, but unfortunately, it's gonna stay like that. Since Hunky Jake looks really strong, let's see if he can beat an Iron Golem. Okay, this was stupid. He obviously can beat an Iron Golem. He's a warden. Since Hunky Jake is a warden, I decided to go find him in the deep dark. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. I was expecting the animation to be broken. I decided to spawn an army of Hunky Jakes, and then I watched them all chase me. Oh no, they're getting angry. Yeah, I wouldn't want this to happen to me. They look so scary with no legs. I decided to give Hunky Jake a 9 out of 10. His animations are broken, but he looks good. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made the Jester. I used a pillager for the Jester. I colored one half purple, added some spikes, and then I gave him some eyes. I added the Jester to the game, and he looked pretty good. He looks a lot better than I thought he would. His face looked kind of weird in block bench. He also needs to stop aiming the bow at me. I'm not hostile. Next, I decided to see who would win, the Jester or Hunky Jake. I think we already know what's gonna happen. Yeah, the Jester got one hit. He had no chance. I decided to spawn an army of Jesters, and then I put them all against Hunky Jake. Okay, they might be able to win this time. There's a lot of them. That is if they stop shooting each other. Yeah, Hunky Jake wins this one too. Hopefully the Jester is more powerful in the real game. I decided to give the Jester an 8 out of 10. He looks pretty good, but also kind of weird. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Evil Banbaleena. For this one, I used a piglin. I colored her white, added some creepy eyes, and then I gave her some horns. Oh, that's not a piglin, that's a pig. Evil Banbaleena actually looks really good in game. She might be even better than Evil Banban. Oh yeah, she turns into a zombie. We have to go to the Nether. But as I was saying, she actually looks really scary, even in Minecraft. Come on, Banbaleena, give me some pearls. No, that's not what I wanted. I decided to spawn a baby Banbaleena, and it looked just as scary, and then I spawned an army of evil Banbaleenas. Oh, some of them have drip. After that, I decided to get chased by all the Banbaleenas. I won't be late for class again, I'm sorry. I guess she doesn't want to send me to the principal's office. I decided to give Evil Banbaleena a 10 out of 10. She actually looks pretty scary in Minecraft. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Sharp Claw, and I used an Iron Golem to make him. I changed the shape of his body, colored him pink, and then I added his eyes. Okay, this actually looks pretty good in game. Well, at least least he looks like the picture. His nails are also really dirty. This guy definitely needs a shower. Sharp Claw kind of looks like Barney, so let's see if he's a friendly dinosaur. Okay, I don't think he wants to be friends. He's kind of mean, actually. Because he's so mean, I decided to make him fight Hunky Jake. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have done that. We already know Hunky Jake can beat an Iron Golem from earlier. But what about 4 Sharp Claws? Okay, 1 is already dead. This isn't looking good. Dang, Hunky Jake is crazy. Yeah, I guess 4 Sharp Claws can't take this guy out. He's invincible. I decided to give Sharp Claw a 7 out of 10. I'm disappointed that 4 of them couldn't kill a Hunky Jake. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Charlie Cake. I decided to make him from a creeper. I deleted all this stuff, shaped him into a cake, and then I colored him in. After that, I drew his faces, added these things, and gave him some eyes. I don't think this is the right cake. He doesn't appear to be moving. Charlie Cake actually looks pretty decent, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a lot bigger. I don't know how he ended up this small. I will say he looks like he tastes a lot better than the actual cake though. Hey man, I was just kidding. I'm not gonna eat you. I decided to see a baby Charlie Cake, and then I realized that isn't real, so instead I spawned a supercharged Charlie Cake. Okay, I think the charge is a little bit tall for him. Oh, and the head is also moving. That's kind of weird. I decided to spawn a Sharp Claw, and then I tested if supercharged Charlie Cake can one-shot him. Oh wow, that actually did a lot of damage, and he wasn't even really close to him, so he probably could have killed him. Here you go, Sharp Claw. I'll fix you up. I decided to give Charlie Cake a 7 out of 10. I don't really like how he looks. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Cyclopus. I used a Hoglin to make him. First, I deleted all this stuff. Next, I colored him in, and then I gave him an eye. After that, I gave him teeth, added his arms, and I put the collar around his arm. Cyclopus actually looks pretty good in game, but I'm not sure why he is shaking. Oh yeah, he turns into a zombie. That's why he's shaking. I went to the Nether to go and find Cyclopus, and this is how he looks without the shake. I'm not gonna lie, he looks kind of like Stinky Joel from the last video, except he's red. This guy is walking a lot slower though, and he looks like he wants to eat me for dinner. What about a baby Cyclopus? Okay, this guy is way too small. I don't think he can even jump up 1 block. I decided to spawn an army of Cyclopses, and then I made them all chase me. I don't know why they're so much faster now that they want to kill me. This is unfair. Okay, I need to stop getting chased by things. This is like the 3rd time this video. Cyclopus and Evil Banbaleena are both nether mobs, so I decided to see who would win in a fight. Banbaleena has a bow. She should be able to win this one. Okay, never mind. Cyclopus actually won. I decided to give Cyclopus an 8 out of 10. He doesn't look that bad. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Crabzilla. I made Crabzilla from a strider. I moved his legs, shaped his body, and then I colored him red. After that, I gave him some eyes and some claws. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's not what his legs are supposed to look like. I don't know how this always happens. I tried to fix his legs, and this is what Crabzilla looked like in game. I'm not gonna lie, he looks pretty good other than when his body randomly turns without his legs. But stuff like that is normal around here, so he looks good. I spawned a baby Crabzilla, and he looked about the same, except for his feet sinking into the ground. And then I decided to ride a Crabzilla. Okay, so I'm kind of sitting on his eyes, so I'm not sure if he can see. Yeah, there's definitely mobs that look good when you ride them, and this is not one of them. Also, I like how the baby is just following us around. That's kind of funny. I decided to give Crabzilla a 9 out of 10. He looks good, but his body is broken. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Mr. Smitty. I used a Vindicator to make him. I shrunk his legs and arms, colored him pink, and then I shaped his head. Next, I gave him some nostrils, added his eyes, and then I put the orange things on his back. Okay, Mr. Smitty actually looks pretty good in game. I like how his arms are crossed like that. It makes him look cool. But other than that, I don't know. He looks kind of boring. Since Mr. Smitty is a Vindicator, I decided to see if he can beat Sharp Claw in a fight. These guys kind of look like relatives. I think Mr. Smitty is Sharp Claw's little brother. He fought him like his little brother too. He got destroyed. Since Mr. Smitty lost to Sharp Claw, I decided to feed him a villager to make him happy. I don't like him as much with the axe out. He looks kind of scary. RIP villager, Mr. Smitty was too fast. I decided to give Mr. Smitty a 6 out of 10. I'm not sure why, but I don't really like him. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Remy. Remy is a dog, so I used a wolf. I colored him orange, shaped his mouth, and then I gave him some eyes. After that, I added his teeth, and finally I gave him some feet. I added Remy to the game, and he looked a little bit better than he did in Blockbench. I'm not gonna lie, he looked pretty bad in Blockbench though, so at least this is a little bit better. I wish I could say the same for the baby one though. Why is his head so big? Don't worry guys, nothing to see here. I decided to tame a Remy, and this is what he looks like when he's sitting down. I don't know why, but this reminds me of the dog from Mickey Mouse. Maybe he's supposed to be a scary version of him or something. To see if he really is scary, I decided to make him fight Evil Banbaleena. Okay, he can't be making those noises when he gets hit. I feel bad. Wow, he actually almost lost. That one was close. I'm going to give Remy a 7 out of 10. He doesn't look that bad, but he isn't really good either. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Lazcat. I used a cat for this one, obviously. I moved his legs, colored him pink, pink, and then I shaped his head. Next I colored his mouth, gave him some eyes, and finally I gave him some teeth. Okay, this one is probably one of the worst mobs I've made, but it also looks pretty good for what it is. Like, I can't really see how I could have made this better. He just looks bad in general. What about a baby Lazcat? Okay, this is just too small. It kind of looks like a mouse. I decided to tame a Lazcat, and this is what he looks like when he is sitting down. Okay, I think there's something wrong with his front legs. They aren't really connected anymore. Since Lazcat is a cat and Remy is a dog, I decided to see which one of them will win in a fight. Okay, I guess dogs are stronger than cats. This settles it. I decided to give Lazcat a 6 out of 10. He looks worse than Remy. Next, I made Fairy Aruru, and I know she's gonna be in the actual game, but I'm still making her. I colored her body purple, gave her a face, and then added her wand. I added her to the game, and her head was looking kind of broken, so I decided to fix that. Okay, that's still a little messed up, but it's good enough. Also, her feet are both on the same leg, but I'm not fixing that. Only one fix per mob. Oh yeah, I forgot that happens. Since Fairy Aruru was made from a hoglin, I decided to go find her in the nether. I'm not usually a fan of these guys because they like to hit you from far away, but I guess for Fairy Aruru, I'll make an exception. Since Banban is also a nether mob, I decided to see who would win, Banban or Fairy Aruru. Dang, Banban's going in. Wait, Banban actually won that. I thought Fairy Aruru was gonna win, not gonna lie. I decided to spawn an army of fairies, and then I made them all chase me. Hopefully this doesn't happen in the actual game, because these guys are kind of scary. Also, their legs look kind of funny. I'm going to give Fairy Aruru an 8 out of 10. Other than the broken stuff, she looks pretty good. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Tall Victor. I used an Enderman for Tall Victor because he's tall. I colored him fully green, added these things on the bottom, and then I gave him an eye. After that, I added his goofy mouth, gave him a broccoli head, and fixed his arms a little bit. I added Tall Victor to the game, and he actually ended up looking pretty good. He looks kind of funny when he walks, though. I don't really think it's supposed to look like that. Since Tall Victor is supposed to be a vegetable, it only makes sense to make him fight Jumbo Josh. Okay, yeah, Victor had no chance. Jumbo Josh eats too many vegetables. I went to the end to find more Tall Victors, and then I got them all to chase me. I don't even know if this is scary. His face looks kind of goofy. Okay, well, even if it's not scary, it's still deadly. Tall Victor, you better apologize for killing me or I'm not looking away. I'm going to give Tall Victor a 9 out of 10. He honestly looks pretty good, especially as a meal. Next, I made Nibbler. I decided to make Nibbler from a wither, cause, well, I don't know, I just never used the wither. I kinda forgot to record me making Nibbler, so here's me adding some orange things on his arms, cause that's all I have. I spawned the Nibbler in game, and he was honestly looking pretty crazy. Ignore the black spot on the bottom, I didn't know this would happen. I'm pretty sure Nibbler doesn't fly around and attack random mobs, so I don't think this is accurate. I'm also not sure if you see it, but he kinda looks like the guy from Monsters Inc. There's honestly not much to do with this guy, so I decided to see if he can beat Jumbo Josh. Jumbo Josh is the most powerful Banban mob so far, but he might lose this one. Yeah, Nibbler's health bar is barely moving. This isn't looking good. Come on, Jumbo Josh, you can win this one. Okay, I was lying. There's no way he was winning this one. I guess I'm gonna have to step in and end this. Yeah, I had even less chance than Jumbo Josh. Nibbler is too good. I decided to give Nibbler an 8 out of 10. I honestly can't really tell if he looks good or bad, so I'm just gonna go with good. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Miss Luna. I decided to make her from a bee because I think she's a bug. I colored her body purple, gave her some eyes, and then I added her crown. After that, I added her dress, gave her some legs, and finally added her wings. She actually ended up looking pretty good in game. The flying suits her well. I will say her eyes look kind of weird though. She looks sad. I decided to spawn a baby Miss Luna, and it looked exactly the same. I don't really know what I was expecting. Miss Luna is probably pretty good at fighting, so I decided to put that to the test. Okay, maybe I was wrong. She didn't even really fight. I spawned an army of Miss Lunas, and then I decided to make them all follow me. Okay, this one isn't that scary. Oh wait, why is she upside down? Wait, I just noticed that bees like to attack zoglins for some reason. Look at them all ganging up on the zoglin, like what is going on? I decided to give Miss Luna an 8 out of 10. She looks really good, but she doesn't really do anything. She's kinda boring. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Dr. Fluffy Pants. I made him from a panda. I moved his head, colored him blue, and then I gave him a mouth. Next, I added his eyes, gave him some ear things, and made the heart on his chest. Dr. Fluffy Pants is definitely an interesting name for a guy like this. He looks kinda buff. Also, we'll ignore his head. I know it's broken, but I don't care. Wait, look at him rolling around. That's kinda crazy. Since I made him from a panda, I decided to feed Dr. Fluffy Pants some bamboo. Yeah, there's definitely something wrong with him. This is not okay. I decided to spawn a baby Dr. Fluffy Pants, and this is what happened. Well, the good thing is I can't break him by feeding him bamboo. The bad thing is his head is floating higher than before by default. Oh wait, they're following me because I'm holding bamboo. I didn't even realize realize. Since Dr. Fluffy Pants is a doctor, I decided to see if he can perform an operation. Alright, I guess he doesn't feel like doing it. He's just gonna leave this villager to die. I decided to give Dr. Fluffy Pants a 7 out of 10. I like how he looks, but his head is broken. We can't excuse that. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Chef Pigster, and I made him from a pig. I gave him his face on his chest, added his other head on the top, and then I gave him some sideways arms. Chef Pigster actually looks pretty good in game, but I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be a lot bigger. His arms also don't move with his head, but I'm not fixing that. Chef Pigster is supposed to be a chef, so I decided to see if he can cook me a meal. I probably shouldn't have chosen a pork chop, that's kinda messed up. After that, I decided to spawn a baby Chef Pigster. I kinda forgot that all the baby pigs have this weird thing with their head. Also, there's an eye on his back, not sure how I didn't notice that. I spawned an army of Chef Pigsters, and then I made them all follow me. Yeah, this definitely isn't scary at all. I decided to give Chef Pigster an 8 out of 10. His bottom head looks really good. Not the top head though, I don't know what this is. Next, I made Coach Pickles. I used a Strider to make him because he kind of resembles a Strider. I made his legs a lot bigger, colored him blue, and then I gave him a mouth. Next, I added his trunk, gave him some weird looking eyes, and then I added his ears. Okay, I'm pretty sure something is wrong, but I can't really tell what. I fixed his legs, and this is how he looks in game. He honestly looks pretty good. Okay, his other foot is attached to the wrong leg still, but I'm just gonna leave it. Also, we ignore the missing texture here. It doesn't look like that in Blockbench. Coach Pickles probably coaches some sort of sports team, so let's see if he can beat me in a snowball fight. Okay, I don't think that's gonna work. Let's see what a baby Pickles looks like. He looks just about as cursed as the big one. I decided to ride a Coach Pickles, and I'm pretty sure that something doesn't look right. I'm going to give Coach Pickles a 7 out of 10. He honestly looks kinda weird. It's time for the next mob. Next, I decided to make Nabnalina. I already made Nabnab, so I just took the Nabnab model and changed it a little bit. First, I made the tongue a different shape, then I fixed her eyes, and finally I colored her pink. This is kinda weird. For some reason, she looks just like Nabnab. I also forgot that Nabnalina is supposed to have a bow on her head, so I added that. When I made Nabnab, I got him to chase me, so I had to get chased by Nabnalina as well. This looks just as scary as last time. I also found a way to make it look like Nabnalina is chasing me on a roof, just like how Nabnab does in the game. Well, she doesn't chase me, but it looks like she's on a roof, so that's cool. I decided to have a fight between Chef Pigster and Nabnalina, and you will never expect what happened next. Okay, it was kind of obvious what would happen, I'm just bored. I decided to give Nabnalina a 6 out of 10 because that's what I gave Nabnab and they look the same. It's time for the next mob. Next, I decided to make Hunter Tim. I made Hunter Tim from a Ravager. First, I made his head bigger, then I colored him purple, and I added some hair to his head. I also gave him a big wide mouth, added his eyes, and gave him a couple of arms and feet. Hunter Tim looks kinda strange in game, but at least nothing is broken this time, I think. Since Hunter Tim is a Ravager, let's see him take on a villager. Wow, he's fast. His head looks kinda weird when he attacks, but that's fine. Also, I'm pretty sure hunters aren't supposed to kill villagers, they're supposed to kill animals to feed the villagers. But I guess Hunter Tim is just built different. To see if he really is built different, I decided to challenge him to a fight. Yeah, I had zero chance. I can't even tell where I was supposed to be hitting. I decided to spawn an army of Hunter Tims, and then I made them fight a warden. The warden seems to be killing a lot of them, but they might actually win this. Dang, the Hunter Tims actually won. I mean, it was a 10v1, so it's not really an accomplishment, but I'm still surprised. I'm going to give Hunter Tim an 8 out of 10. He doesn't look that bad. It's time for the next mob. For the next mob, I made Stinky Joel. I used an iron golem to make him. I shaped his body, colored him green, and then I added these teeth things. After that, I gave him some eyes, colored his legs, and then I rotated his arms a bit. I don't think I even have to say something is broken because you already know it is. I fixed his arms, which took a while because I somehow put both arms on the wrong side, and this is how Stinky Joel looks in game. He kinda stinks. I'm just kidding, he doesn't actually look that bad. I decided to see who would win in a fight, Stinky Joel or Hunter Tim. This fight is actually a lot closer than I thought. Stinky Joel won. I'm actually kinda surprised. I thought Hunter Tim had that. Will he beat 2 Hunter Tims though? Nope, 2 Hunter Tims is too many for him. I spawned an army of Stinky Joels, and honestly I'm not sure why. I didn't even do anything with them. I then gave Stinky Joel a bottle of Dragon's Breath because that's the stinkiest thing I could find, and then I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. He doesn't look that bad, but he isn't interesting enough. It's time for the next mob. Next, I made Noodles Ninja. Since Noodles Ninja looks like a jellyfish, I decided to make him from an Elder Guardian. I removed all this stuff, colored him blue, and then I gave him a mouth. After that, I added his eyes, added some noodles on the side, and then I gave him some arms and legs. Surprisingly, nothing broke with this one. His legs are in the ground, but he's supposed to be in the water anyway, so that's fine. Also, the sound he makes is kind of weird, but I didn't add that. That's not my fault. Let's see a baby Noodles Ninja. Oh yeah, that's not a thing. I decided to spawn a Noodles Ninja in the water, and this is how he looked. He looks a lot better in water because you can actually see his legs. He would also look a lot better if his arms and legs moved, but I'm not doing all that. I decided to fight Noodles Ninja to see if he really is a ninja. I really should get some armor for these fights. I decided to give Noodles Ninja an 8 out of 10. He looks pretty good, but his eyes are kind of scary. It's time for the next mob. Next I made Silent Steve, and Silent Steve is a serpent, so I made him from a warden, because those two are the exact same thing. I deleted everything except his body, colored him purple, and then I started shaping his new body. After that, I started making his head, gave him some eyes, and then I added his tongue. Yeah, this looks really bad, but it's gonna have to do. At least he isn't broken. He also kind of moves like a serpent, so that's cool. Okay, maybe that's not how a serpent moves, but I'm pretending it does. Since Silent Steve is a serpent, it only makes sense to spawn him in the water. Surprisingly, it actually looks like he belongs here. I decided to see if Silent Steve or Noodles Ninja is the superior water monster. Okay, this fight is kind of weird. I don't think the warden can melee in water. But even though he can't melee, Silent Steve still won. Okay, that's enough Silent Steve for now. He's kinda cursed. I decided to give Silent Steve a 3 out of 10 because I just don't really know what this is supposed to be. I'm going to be remaking Minecraft mobs into the amazing digital circus. The first character I'll make is Pomni, and I'm going to use a villager to make her. First, let's get rid of this stuff because we don't need it. Now let's change the shape of her body and we'll start shaping her legs. Next, I'm gonna give her some arms, and I'll just add a hand on the bottom here. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of her head, and let's start to add her hat on the top as well. And I think that's a pretty good body, so now let's start to color her in. First, let's color her head white, and we'll do the same for her arms and legs as well. Now let's color in these yellow parts like this. Next, let's color in her clothes, and I'll make sure to add the blue spots on the other side. Now let's put these buttons that she has in the front of her shirt like this, and now it's time to give her a face. So first, I'm gonna add her eyes like this, and I'm also gonna give her a strand of hair on each side of her head as well. And I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Pomni looks in game. She doesn't look that bad. I like how I made her constantly looking around paranoid, just like how she is in the show. We'll just ignore the fact that she's bald on the back of her head though. I'm pretty sure her hat is supposed to cover that. In the show, Pomni throws up on the ground, so I made it so that when she hits you, you get the nausea effect. It is also said that Pomni doesn't like being touched, so I made it so that she runs away from enemies very quickly if she gets attacked. In the show, Pomni tries to escape the circus through a bunch of exit doors, so I made it so that Pomni can open doors by herself, just like a regular villager. Pomni also gets teleported to the void if you right click her, because I just felt like adding that. I don't really know why. If you kill Pomni, she drops her red hand, which gets glitched in the first episode, so if you hold this hand out for yourself, you get teleported around randomly, sort of like you're glitching. And a fun fact about Pomni is that her favorite food is salmon, so you can also feed Pomni salmon. Overall, I think Pomni turned out pretty good and has a lot of interesting features. So because of this, I decided to give Pomni a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Cain, and I'll use an evoker to make him. First, let's get rid of all this stuff that we don't need, and let's change the shape of his leg and bend it like this. Next, I'm gonna work on his arms, so let's just rotate this piece like this, and we'll give him a hand and copy this over to the other side as well. Next, I'm gonna change his head into the shape of some gums like this, and let's just add some teeth on the top in the same shape as well. Next, I'll give him his top hat on top of the mouth. Okay, now this is looking good, so let's give him some color. First, I'm gonna color his gums bright red, and we'll color the teeth white like this. Next, I'm gonna color in his eyes, and let's color his shirt a pinkish color as well. Okay, now this looks good, so let's just add some detail to his shirt right here, and we'll give him his different color eyeballs as well. Now let's give him his stick, because I forgot to do that. And I think that Cain is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how Cain looks in game. He actually looks really good. Also ignore the cakes that are spawning around him. I'll explain that in a second. Since Cain is the host of the digital circus, I decided to make it so that Cain is completely invincible to all types of damage except for cactuses. Cain is also seen teleporting throughout the episode, so I made it so that Cain teleports away if he takes too much damage, similar to the TV people in my Skibidi videos. Cain also spawns cake randomly around him, as you can see, because he spawned a cake out of thin air in the first episode. Unfortunately, there is no bubble to eat this cake right now. We'll just have to wait until later for that. If Cain somehow manages to die, he drops a stick, which can be used to either remove any block you right click on with it, or you can send any mob to the void if you right click them as well. Overall, I think Cain turned out really good. He's definitely one of my favorite mobs I've made. So because of this, I decided to give Cain a 10 out of 10. He deserves it. The next character I'll make is Jax, and I'm gonna use a rabbit because Jax is a rabbit, I think. First, I'm gonna get rid of some of the stuff we don't need, and let's rearrange his body parts a little bit for now. Next, let's make his legs super tall like this, and we'll change the shape of his body to make it a bit taller as well. Now let's give him a neck like this, and I'll just change the shape of his head to make it a bit more round. Now let's just add his ears on the very top, and now it's time to give Jax some arms. And I think this is good, so let's give Jax some color. First, I'm gonna color his head purple, and we'll do the same for his arms and body as well. Now let's color his overall overalls a pinkish color, and we'll do the same for his legs like this. Next, I'm gonna color both of his hands a yellowish color, and we'll just give him 2 buttons here, and now it's time to add his face. First, I'm gonna give him a big yellow mouth, and let's just give him some eyes above that. I'm also gonna give him a couple eyebrows above his eyes like this, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how Jax looks in game. He honestly looks pretty similar to the actual show. The only difference is that he's obviously made of cubes though, so he could never be as good as the original. It was kind of hard for me to think of features to give Jax, so he only really has a couple. To start, Jax is super tall as you can see, just like he is in the actual series, and you can also see Jax run away really quickly in the first episode, so I made it so that Jax is super fast in game as well. You can also ride on Jax's back for some reason. I'm not really sure why I added this. It just seems like something that he would be able to do. If you kill Jax, you get a rabbit's foot because he's a rabbit, so that's the less evil version of making him just drop rabbit meat. And overall, I think Jax looks pretty good, but he doesn't really have that many features. So because of this, I decided to give Jax an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Ragatha, and I'm gonna use a witch to make her. First, let's get rid of some of the stuff we don't need, and I'm just gonna make her body a lot smaller for now, and I'll just add a few layers underneath as her dress. Next, I'm gonna give her an arm like this, and I'll just give her a hand on the bottom as well. Now let's copy this over to the other side, and next let's work on her head. First, I'm gonna change the shape of it like this. Next, I'm gonna start adding her hair on the side, and I'll just copy these hairs all around her head, and we'll also add her bow on the top like this. And I think this is a pretty good body, so now let's give her some color. First, I'm gonna color her head and her arms in like this. Next, let's just color her hair a reddish pink color as well. Now let's color her entire dress a purplish color, and we'll color the bow on top slightly darker. Next, I'm gonna add the patches on her dress in the same color as the bow, and now let's add a bit more detail, and we'll start to give her a face. Alright, after like 5 tries, this is the face I'm going with. It still looks weird, but it's the best I'm gonna get. Now finally, let's add a bit of texture, and I think this looks good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Ragatha looks in game. I definitely think her face looks a little weird. She also makes witch noises, which I'm not really sure if it fits her or not. It's kind of strange. Also, we're just gonna ignore the fact that you can see through her hair. Just pretend the back part here is fully covered. In the show, Ragatha gets attacked and becomes completely glitched out, so I decided to make it so that Ragatha glitches whenever she gets hit, which looks kind of funny more than glitchy. This is also the only feature that Ragatha has because I couldn't really think of anything else. If you kill Ragatha, she drops this red thing from the nether because it was supposed to be her hair, and overall I think Ragatha looks kind of cursed and she doesn't really have any features. So because of this, I'm going to give Ragatha a 6 out of 10. I just made her face look too weird. Next character I'll make is Gangle, and I'll make Gangle from a skeleton because they're both kind of built the same. First, I'm gonna make her head a lot smaller like this, and now let's shape the head into a mask as well, and I think that's good, so let's just work on her left arm like this, and we'll make the right arm similar but rotate it in a different direction. Next, I'm gonna make her legs a lot thinner, and we'll rotate the bottom part a little bit like this. Now let's copy this to the other side, and it's time to color her in. First, I'm gonna draw a red spiral for her body like this, and I'm gonna color her arms and her legs the same color. Now let's add a bit of detail with a slightly lighter red, and next I'm gonna color in her mask, and now finally let's give her a face like this, and we'll also add a little bit more texture to her body as well, and I think that is looking pretty good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Gangle looks in game. Despite being very simple to make, I think she actually turned out pretty good. I will say that having the arms like this is kind of strange though. They don't really move that much. In the show, Gangle has at least 2 masks, the comedy mask and the tragedy mask, but she falls and breaks her comedy mask at the beginning of the first episode, so I decided to make it so that when Gangle dies, her comedy mask falls and reveals the tragedy mask. You may have also noticed that the comedy mask drops as an item when she dies, and if you decide to wear this comedy mask, you get speed 4 and jump boost 4 because those effects are kind of fun, I guess. The mask is also off-centered when you wear it, but we'll just ignore that. It's the only way I could make it fit. Overall, I think Gangle turned out pretty good, and I think her mask is a cool addition to the game. So because of this, I'm going to give Gangle a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Kinger, and I'll use a snow golem to make him. First, I'm gonna get rid of these layers because we don't need them, and let's make the bottom smaller like this. Now let's add another part on top, and we'll make it way taller as well. Next, I'm gonna copy this part on top, and we'll bend it so he's hunched over a little bit. And now I'm just gonna add a part on the front that is gonna be his coat. Now let's add a piece for his head up here, and we'll add another part on top, and we'll also add the king thing on the very top like this. Next, I'm gonna change his neck area a little bit so that he can have his coat, and this looks pretty good. Now let's color him in. First, I'm gonna color his body a purplish color, and we'll just color in the rest of his coat as well. Now let's color his head slightly darker than his coat. Next, I'm gonna give him an eye, and we'll copy this over to the other side and rotate them a little bit as well. Now let's give him a hand, and we'll color it the same color as his coat. Next, we'll add a little bit of detail to his coat like this, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how Kinger looks in game. This guy is honestly a little bit larger than I thought he would be. I also decided to make it so that Kinger sways back and forth quickly, because in the show, he seems to be a little bit on edge. Wait, where did he go? Why is he hiding underneath these randomly colored blocks. Since Kinger seems to be crazy in the show, I decided to make it so that when you right-click Kinger, he shakes really quickly, similar to when he did this in the show. This also makes him look kinda funny if you just spam it. If you kill Kinger, I made it so that he drops 1 scaffolding, and you might be wondering why I chose this random item. And it's because it has a checkerboard pattern on it, and Kinger is a chess piece. Overall, I don't think Kinger looks that bad, but he's also not the best looking mob. So because of this, I decided to give Kinger a 7 out of 10. The next character I'll make is Zooble, and I'll use a blaze to make them because they both have a bunch of body parts. First, let's remove all these because we don't need them. And I'm just gonna make the first leg like this, and we'll just add this hook shape on the bottom of the right leg, and we'll also add a spiral on the top. Next, I'm gonna give Zooble a body, and we'll just copy the spiral for their neck as well. Next, I'm gonna work on making a triangle shape for the head, and I'm also gonna add a left arm like this, and we'll also make a right arm that has a lot less spirals. Now I'm gonna color Zooble in, so first let's color the body yellowish, and we'll color Zooble's head in pink. Next, I'm gonna color the rest of the body a bunch of different colors. Now let's add some spots on Zooble's body like this, and now I'm gonna add a few more parts on the body that I missed, and I think that looks good. So now let's just add their eyes like this, and we'll also add this zigzag thing that comes off the top of their head as well. Now let's add the Y on the other part of the head, and we'll give it some stripes as well, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how Zooble looks in game. This is how Zooble looks in game. I'm honestly kind of surprised that I was able to make them look good with all the different pieces. I will say the blaze noises are really annoying though. I definitely should have removed them. But other than that, this actually did turn out pretty good. In the show, Zooble gets broken into a bunch of pieces, so I decided to make it so that when you kill Zooble, it breaks them into a bunch of pieces as well. Ignore the fact that they're able to stand back up. You also might have noticed that Zooble drops a Zooble head when they die, and you might be wondering what the Zooble head does. No, you are not able to wear it. Instead, you can eat the Zooble head and you will gain bad luck for a minute. This is because Zooble seems kinda unlucky in the first episode. Overall, I think Zooble turned out a lot better than I thought they would, so because of this, I decided to give Zooble an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Bubble, and I'll use a Vex because I made Kane from an evoker. First, I'm gonna get rid of all this Vex stuff, and I'm just gonna generate a circle like this. Now let's color this circle a purplish color, and I'm gonna rotate this circle a bunch of different times until we have a bubble. Next, I'm gonna remove some pieces like this so we have some teeth, and let's just color these teeth white so we can see them. Next, I'm gonna add an eye on the side, and we'll color it reddish brown. And now let's just copy this to the other side, and I think that looks good. Let's see how Bubble looks in game. This is how Bubble looks in game. This is probably the least Minecrafty looking mob I've ever made. The teeth still look Minecrafty though. I didn't really add that much detail to them. Since Bubble is supposed to be Kane's sidekick, I decided to make it so that when you right click Kane, he spawns in Bubble, similar to how the actual evoker spawns Vexes. Bubble is also seen licking stuff in the show, so I decided to make it so that you get licked by Bubble if he attacks you as well. If you kill Bubble, he has a popping animation, which actually looks kinda cool. And you might have noticed that he drops an ender pearl, and that's just because it's the same shape as a bubble. That's really it. Overall, I don't think Bubble looks that bad, but he's a little bit weird compared to my regular mobs. So because of this, I'm going to give Bubble a 7 out of 10. I'm going to be remaking Minecraft mobs into Skibidi Toilet. The first character I'll make is a regular toilet, and I'm gonna use a villager. You'll see why in a second. First, let's delete all this stuff because we don't need it, and then we'll turn this cube into the bottom of the toilet. Let's color it white, and then we'll start making the toilet more circular. Now let's expand these walls up a little bit more, and we'll put some blue toilet water inside of the bowl. Now let's use the villager head as the head. I'll obviously fix the texture later, and I'll just make the back of the toilet like this, and I'll also make the toilet seat in front of it as well. Now let's color all this in, and we'll fix the villager head texture. Now let's put a little flush button on the back like this, and now our toilet is pretty much done. I just have to add an animation for this guy, just like in the actual series. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's add it to the game. This is how the Skibidi Toilet looks in game. It honestly looks really good. The only real problem I see is this weird spot on the neck here, but that doesn't really matter. In the actual series, when a toilet dies, there's a flush animation, so I added that to this toilet as well. Oh yeah, he also drops cocoa beans when he dies. Those are definitely cocoa beans. The Skibidi Toilet is also hostile towards players because a player is technically a cameraman. This is what happens when you don't subscribe. You get chased by toilets. Overall, I think the Skibidi Toilet turned out pretty good, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Now, obviously our toilets need an enemy other than me, so next I'm gonna make a cameraman. And I'll use a zombie since zombies hate villagers. We'll start by making a little shoe down here, and now we'll start to give him a leg. Now let's copy the leg over to the other side, and now let's work on his body. I'm gonna give him some long arms like this, and now I'm gonna start to shape the camera on his head. Let's just put some walls around the lens like this, and then we'll give him the headphones that he wears as well. Now it's time to color this guy in. Let's start by coloring the edges of the camera, and then we'll color some parts of his suit black. And now let's just add some details to his suit as well. The cameraman I'm looking at also seems to be wearing a coat, so let's give him that as well. Now let's just add a little bit of texture to him, and I think that looks looks good. Let's add him to the game. This is our cameraman in game. He actually looks pretty cool. Okay, I don't really know why he doesn't stop walking. That's a problem. Okay, I fixed the walking issue by giving him this idle animation, and he also has another animation, which is this thumbs up animation. I've been told it looks like something else though. Obviously, the cameramen and the Skibidi toilets naturally fight each other, and the fight is actually really even. Come on, cameraman, you can win this. Oh yeah, I made the cameraman drop a command block because I didn't know what to give him. You can also watch a fight from inside the cameraman since he's a cameraman. This is definitely not just a feature that exists for every mob. I decided to give the cameraman a 6 out of 10. I know I'm supposed to be on his team, but I don't like him as much as the toilet. Next, I'll make a Strider toilet. And let's use a spider because he kind of looks like a spider. First, let's remove everything except his legs, and we'll copy the old toilet on top like this. Now we can give the old toilet some texture again. And now let's make it so he only has 3 legs. Okay, that looks pretty good. Next, we can add an extra limb to each side of the legs so that they can bend. And we'll just repeat that on each side. Now this looks pretty good, but the Strider toilet is kind of dirty and broken, so we have to add that too. So let's just add a black spot down here, and we'll make the entire toilet seat black, and also make it look like it's oozing. And now we can change the villager's face. I want to give him some big eyes, so first we'll do that. And now we'll just give him a creepy mouth, and we'll also just give him some shading on his head. And that looks kind of cursed, but that's what we wanted. Let's see him in game. This is the spider toilet in game. He kind of looks like the Joker. The spider toilet is also insanely fast compared to the other mobs, which doesn't really help him look less scary. Like, look at him chasing me. This is almost a horror mod. The Strider toilet is also a lot stronger than a regular toilet, as he's able to take on 2 cameramen at the same time. Only 1 player though. He definitely didn't almost kill me. Oh yeah, I also made it so you can ride him, because you can ride an actual Strider, so it made sense. I think I'm going to give the Strider toilet a 7 out of 10, just like the regular toilet, because he isn't any more interesting. But the mobs are about to get more interesting, because next I'm gonna make the Titan Speaker Man. And I'm using a Vindicator because they also hate villagers. First, I'm going to use the same leg I made for the cameraman and just copy it here. And then we'll change the shape of his body a bit and give him some better looking arms. Now let's start to color what we have so far. We'll make the pants dark gray just like on the cameraman, and then we'll color the shoes black as well. Now we'll just color his arms and chest red for now, and then we'll work on making his speakers. I'm gonna make the speakers with no texture first to see how they look. And I think that's some pretty good speakers, so let's just color them all black. And now we'll start to add the actual speaker parts with the red ones first. And we'll also add a few gray ones as well. Now we can make the red thing that comes out of his chest like this, and we'll also add his plasma blaster on the side of his arm. Now we'll just add some texture all around him to make him look a little bit nicer, and that's the Titan Speaker Man complete. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the Titan Speaker Man in game. He's definitely a little bit bigger than a cameraman. I also decided to give him a boss bar so you know that he's a big deal. If any type of toilets get within range of the Titan Speaker Man, he shoots powerful plasma bombs at them. You can tell they're really powerful because he almost died from his own attacks. If the Titan Speaker Man does manage to die, he will drop a note block. And I would play the Speaker Man song right now, but I don't really want to get copyrighted. The Titan Speaker Man is honestly my favorite mob right now, and because of that, we're going to give him a 9 out of 10. But it turns out the Titan Speaker Man got infected, so let's make that next. I used a Wandering Trader as the base, but that doesn't really matter because we've already made the Titan Speaker Man. We just have to add a few details to make him infected, like this yellow light instead of red, and we'll also add some blue stuff to show he's infected. Okay, never mind, we'll get rid of that. This is the infected Speaker Man in game. It was honestly kind of hard to tell the difference between the two, so I added these particles to make him look infected. Oh yeah, and there's also a different boss bar as well, but no one is looking at that anyway. One difference between the infected and regular Speaker Man is that the infected one can fly. I don't know if he's supposed to be able to do that, but it definitely makes their fight more interesting. Their fight also makes no sense because there can't be 2 Titan Speaker Men at once. Okay, the infected Speaker Man is way too OP because he can fly. I'm going to give the infected Speaker Man a 9 out of 10 as well because they're basically the same thing. Next, I'll make the TV woman, and I'm going to use a witch to make her. Let's remove all this stuff, and now we can make the bottom of her leg. Let's color her shoe black, and then we'll add the top half of her leg as well. Now we can copy the leg over to the other side, and next let's work on her body. First, I'm gonna make her a bit taller, and let's put her arms behind her back. Now we can color her shirt black, and we can also change the shape of her arms. And now that looks pretty good, but obviously we have to change this head. So let's make it into the shape of a TV like this, and we'll color this outside part dark black. Now let's color the inside a light shade of blue, and next we can give her some antennas. Now finally, let's just add some texture all around her body, and I think that looks really good. Let's add her to the game. This is how the TV woman looks in game. She actually looks really good. I also don't know if you noticed, but I made her switch between nothing and the face she does every few seconds. The TV woman has less health than the Titan Speaker Man, but her attack is much faster. This means that when they fight, it's actually kinda close. It also means she can take out a bunch of toilets at once, and they literally can't do anything. I also made the TV woman teleport away when she gets low on health, just like how she teleports in the actual series. She doesn't really teleport teleport that far away, but that's so the fight remains fair. If you kill the TV woman, she drops a piece of glass from her TV screen, which is pretty useless, but it makes sense. And she also makes witch noises all the time, which is kind of funny. I'm going to give the TV woman a 10 out of 10. I think she turned out really good. Next, I'm going to make the G-Man toilet. And since I used a villager for the regular toilet, it only makes sense to use an iron golem for this one. Let's start by deleting everything except the head. And now let's paste the head onto a toilet body like this. Now obviously the G-Man toilet isn't the same color as the regular toilets, so let's just color him in. And now this is a pretty good base, so let's start adding some detail. The G-Man toilet has these orange glasses, so let's just give them to our iron golem as well. And we can also add the headphones he wears as well. Now let's just make the bottom of the toilet more reinforced, and we're also gonna add the dark gray shields he has all around his body like this. And that is looking pretty good. Now let's add his lasers. The G-Man toilet has 6 lasers in total, so that's how many I added on our toilet as well. Now for some final details, let's add some more reinforcement to the back of the toilet, and we can also add some texture to the accessories we just gave him. And we're done with the G-Man Skibbity toilet. Let's add him to the game. This is the G-Man toilet in game. He is definitely the biggest mob we've made so far. The G-Man toilet is also by far the most powerful mob we've made so far. He's basically able to insta-kill the TV woman, and the Titan Speaker Man doesn't do much better against him either. I thought that I could take out the G-Man toilet, but it also didn't go well for me either. He is too good. If you kill a G-Man toilet, he drops a totem of undying because I didn't really know what to make him drop. I also like how he makes an iron golem sound when you hit him. It actually fits him. Honestly, the G-Man toilet is one of the best looking mobs I've made so far, and because of that, I decided to give him a 10 out of 10. The only problem is that he's too powerful. We need someone that's able to beat him. So next I'll make the Titan TV Man, and I'm gonna use a Ravager because that's the most powerful villager hating mob. So first let's just get rid of this random stuff, and we'll also rearrange his body parts so they are more TV Man shaped. Now we can give him some legs like this, and we'll color his pants and shoes black. Now let's give him his body, and we'll also use this to give him some arms as well. And now we'll also give him some hands like this, and now it's time to give him his TV head. Let's make the black outlines first, and then we'll just give him a blue screen in the middle. The Titan TV Man appears to be wearing a coat, so I'm going to give him one of those as well. And now let's just give his clothes a little bit of texture like this, and we'll add the purple thing that glows in the middle of his chest. Now finally, let's just add these purple things that come off his back, and that is our Titan TV Man. Let's see him in Minecraft. This is how the Titan TV Man looks in game. He's honestly not as intimidating as I thought. Don't let that trick you though, because he's definitely the most powerful mob yet. Okay, there might be a slight problem with his walk. I feel like it shouldn't look like that. Similar to the TV woman, I made it so his face changes every few seconds. I also made it so he teleports away when he gets low as well, although I don't think that's happening. This is what happens when the Titan TV Man fights the G-Man toilet. I don't think the toilet had any chance. Maybe like 5 of them could kill him. Nope, not even 5 of them can do that. I decided to give the Titan TV Man an 8 out of 10. Even though he's really powerful, I don't think he looks as good as the others. Next character I'll make is the Titan Cameraman, and I'm gonna use the Warden to make him. First, I'm gonna give him a leg from the cameraman we made last time, and then I'm just gonna remove all this stuff that we don't need. Now let's copy his leg over to the other side, and we'll just shape his body to match his legs a little bit more. Now let's just change the shape of his legs a little bit, and I'm gonna color in his pants and shirt black for now. The Titan Cameraman's arms obviously aren't this big, so let's give him some new arms, and let's just give him some fingers as well. Now let's just copy this thing over to the other side, and now we can work on adding his head. First, let's start to make the main camera like this, and we'll give him a little lens in the middle as well. And now let's just add some detail to the side like this, and we'll also put some of those things sticking up on the top as well, and I think that looks pretty good. Now let's start to give him some more detail. First, I'm gonna give him a belt like this, and then I'm gonna add his coat that he's wearing right here, and of course we're gonna give him his core in the middle as well. And now let's just add these things that he has on his back, and I'm also gonna add some texture to him like this, and I think he looks pretty good. Let's add him to the game. This is the Titan Cameraman in game. He actually looks really good. Look at him hard at work, recording everything in sight. The Titan Cameraman is really strong, and he is able to destroy the G-Man toilet. Well, sometimes, and sometimes he just decides to not hit him. I guess he's just being fair. The Titan Cameraman also has a ranged attack, but for some reason he only uses it when he's already meleeing, which makes no sense. But I'm not fixing it, because it would probably make him way too OP. Subscriber, the Titan Cameraman will mistaken you for a toilet. If you do kill the Titan Cameraman, he drops a spyglass, which is probably the closest thing to a camera in Minecraft. It's a lot better than a command block at least. I'm going to give the Titan Cameraman an 8 out of 10. He looks pretty good, but his fighting isn't the best. Now that we've made all the Titans, it's time to upgrade them. So next I'm gonna make the upgraded Titan Speaker Man. Let's take the Titan Speaker Man that we made last time, and we'll start by expanding his arms out and getting rid of his belt. Next I'm gonna add these things that attach to his speakers like this, and we'll just do the same thing on the other side as as well. The upgraded Titan Speaker Man has a bright red eye, so I'm going to add that as well. And we'll also make his core the same color so it looks a bit brighter. Now let's just copy his plasma blaster over to his other arm as well. And next I'm going to add these shields that he has over his ankles. The upgraded Titan Speaker Man also has some speakers on his chest, so I'm gonna add those right here. And now I'm just gonna add these antenna shaped things on the top of his head. Finally, I want to give the Titan Speaker Man a jetpack. So let's just add a cube like this. And I'm gonna add a bunch of smaller cubes as well. And I think this looks really good. Let's add him to the game. This is the upgraded Titan Speaker Man in game. This guy is actually massive. He's also moving really fast, and I'm not quite sure how that happened. The upgraded Titan Speaker Man is pretty much the same as the regular Titan, except he's way more powerful. Well, he isn't actually that much more powerful. He just shoots faster. If you kill an upgraded Titan Speaker Man, he drops a pig step music disc, and I'm not really sure why. I just picked a random music disc for him to drop, and that was the one. But I don't think you're gonna kill this guy, because he has way too much health. I think I'm going to give the upgraded Titan Speaker Man a 9 out of 10. I honestly really like how he looks in game. Next, I'm going to make Cinema Man, and I'm gonna start by using the Titan TV Man from last video. First, let's make his body a little bit wider like this, and next I'm gonna give him a new and improved jacket. Now let's just color his pants a bit darker, and we'll also make his head a little bit wider as well. I'm also going to lift up his head a little bit and give him a neck, and now it's time to start adding the speakers on his body. I'm going to start by making the helicopter speakers first. So let's just draw in a helicopter blade like this, and we're gonna copy this to the other side so he has one on each shoulder. Now it's time to give him the massive speaker on his chest. So first I'm gonna make a black box like this, and then I'm gonna copy the speaker part 9 times to match the actual speaker. Now let's just change up his coat a little bit more, and we'll add these things that he has on the side of his arms like this, and finally I'm going to give him a jetpack on his back. And that's the Cinema Man complete. Let's see him in the game. This is how Cinema Man looks in game. He looks way better than the regular Titan TV Man. Oh yeah, he also does the face thing. I forgot about that. I ended up nerfing the Cinema Man's damage because the Titan TV Man was way too OP, and now he's just a little bit better than the G-Man toilet. Well, that is if they hit each other, of course. I also fixed the Cinema Man's walk animation so it doesn't look weird like the Titan TV Man did. And overall, the Cinema Man is just an upgraded version of the Titan TV Man, because that's what he's supposed to be. Oh wait, I just noticed there's a couple bites taken out of the back of his head. I'm not really sure how that got there. Other than that, I think the Cinema Man turned out pretty good, so I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the upgraded Titan Cameraman. So let's just take the Titan Cameraman that we made earlier, and the first thing we'll do is make his arms a little bit bigger. Now let's change his jacket a bit and make it go all the way down to the middle of his legs, and next we'll add the shields that he has around his knees. Now let's add the thing that goes around his core right here, and we'll also add this gray piece which might be from his shirt. I'm not even sure. Next, we'll give him some slightly different looking hands like this, and now it's time to add some details to his head and shoulders. First, we'll add the cannons that he has on his back like this, and next let's add some of the upgrades that he has on his cameras up here. I'm also gonna add the red light on the very top as well, and next I'm gonna give him a jetpack, so let's make the first part of it like this, and we'll just rotate these parts out a little bit, and we'll also add some blue ones as well. And finally, let's add a little bit more texture to him, and I think he's looking good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the upgraded Titan Cameraman looks in game. This guy actually looks really good. I will say there is a little bit of a problem on the back of his arm though, but you can barely notice it. The Titan Cameraman is able to fly, which I thought was a good idea, but I think he's going a little too high up. Okay, I stopped him from being able to fly, and now he's a lot better. The upgraded Titan Cameraman is a little bit stronger than the regular Titan Cameraman, and this time his ranged attack actually works. He also has a thumbs up animation just like the regular Cameraman, but this time I actually gave him a thumb so it isn't mistaken for anything else. The upgraded Titan Cameraman is fire resistant just like in the actual series, and if you do kill him, he drops the same thing as the regular Titan Cameraman because I'm on original. Overall, I think the upgraded Titan Cameraman turned out really good, so I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Now that we have all these upgraded Titans, they need some competition, so next I'll make the upgraded Scientist Toilet, and I'm gonna use a skeleton for him because he looks really old. So let's just remove his whole body because we'll only need his head, and I'm just gonna copy the toilet that we used for the G-Man onto him like this. Let's just get rid of all the G-Man upgrades, and we'll color the toilet a light brownish color just like we did for the G-Man. Now let's give him some toilet water so you can't see into the bowl, and we're going to give him a neck like this. The Scientist Toilet seems to be wearing glasses, so let's just give him some of those, and we'll also put the red spot that he has on the left part of the glasses as well. The Scientist Toilet is wearing the upgrades that Cinema Man used to have on him, so we're going to add those next. First, I copied the main speaker from Cinema Man and put it on the front like this, and then I copied the 2 helicopter speakers and put them on each side as well. Next, we'll just make the back part of the toilet a little bit bigger as it's kind of small right now, and I'm just gonna add these gray things that he has on his back as well. Alright, now we need to give the Scientist Toilet his arms, so I'm going to start making an arm like this, and I'm actually gonna color this lighter gray, it's too dark. Now let's copy this arm onto the other side, and I'm just gonna rotate the arm like this to make it look a little bit nicer. Now finally I'm gonna add this light thing on the side of his head right here, and I think that looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the upgraded scientist toilet in game. This guy is by far the biggest mob we've made. And he's not just the biggest mob, but he's also one of the coolest, as he's able to hover on the ground instead of walking. The upgraded scientist toilet is insanely powerful. This is what he does to a regular Titan speaker man. He literally didn't even have a chance. Now let's try the upgraded Titan speaker man. That wasn't much better. It's probably going to take a combined attempt from all the Titans to take this guy out. Come on Titans, you can do it. Okay, good. They managed to kill him. If they didn't, he would have been way too OP. I also made the scientist toilet drop a brewing stand when you kill him because that's science, I guess. I don't really know. And if you look closely, you can see that he shoots through the red part of his glasses because I'm pretty sure he's supposed to do that. I'm going to give the upgraded scientist toilet a 10 out of 10. I'm pretty sure this is my new favorite mob so far. He looks really good. Next, I'm gonna make the parasitic skibidi toilet. And I'll use a silverfish because that's the closest thing to a parasite. First, let's get rid of all this stuff. And we'll just start to make the shape of a toilet like this. Now let's color the toilet a backroomsy looking color. And we'll add this rectangle part that comes up from the back. Actually, I'm gonna change the color a bit. It's way too yellow. Next, I'm gonna add a long neck for the head like this. And now we're just gonna give him a villager head just like the regular toilet. Next, let's change his face a little bit to make him look more like the parasite toilet. And let's add the little pipe thingy on the top of the toilet like this. Now it's time to start adding some texture all around the toilet like this. And now let's start to give him some legs. And we'll copy these legs over to the other side like this. And now let's just rotate them a bit so they point more outwards. And I think that's a pretty good parasite toilet. Let's add him to the game. This is how the parasite toilet looks in game. This guy is way too tiny. And because he's so small, he's also really fast, which makes him kind of scary to get chased by. There are two sizes of parasite toilets, small and large. And I know the large one is supposed to look different, I just didn't feel like making the other version. If a large parasite toilet bites a Titan speaker man, he will turn infected, and if a small parasite toilet bites a cameraman, it will infect him as well. I also added an infected version of the upgraded Titan speaker man, but there's a very small chance that he gets bit before killing the parasite. The parasite toilets are also able to be deployed by the upgraded scientist toilet, which I actually think is a pretty cool way for them to spawn. Overall, the parasite toilet turned out pretty good, other than this weird spot on the side that I'm not sure how to fix, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Next, I'll make a regular speaker man, and I'm gonna use a Vex to make him because that's a villager hating mob. First, let's take a leg from the cameraman like this, and we'll just move these body parts for now because they are definitely in the wrong place. Next, let's color the speaker man's pants a light gray like this, and now it's time to add his body. First, let's expand the body out to make it a lot bigger like this, and then we'll start to give him some arms as well. Now let's also give him some fingers at the bottom of his arms, and now we'll just color all of this in for now. I'm gonna add the speaker man's jacket next, so let's work on that, and now it's time to give him a head. We'll start by giving him a neck first so his speaker isn't floating, and now we'll shape the head into a speaker. And let's just color the speaker a little bit darker than his suit, and we're gonna give him the actual speaker part in the middle like this. Okay, now that we have a speaker head, let's give him some headphones, and let's also put the headphone band at the top like this, and now I'm gonna give him some extra texture all around his suit like this, and I'm also gonna give him a tie and a belt on his shirt. Alright, I think this guy looks pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. This is our speaker man in game. He definitely looks a lot better than I expected. Okay, what is up with all the speaker men being so fast? I swear I don't know how this is happening. The regular speaker man has the same strength level as a regular cameraman, which means the only thing he can really kill is the regular toilet. But the speaker man doesn't actually kill the skibidi toilets. Instead, he just sits on top of them, just like in the actual series. It is kind of weird though, because the head doesn't disappear. The regular speaker man is also able to do the speaker man dance if you right click him, and this is probably one of my favorite features I've made so far. It looks so funny. If you kill a speaker man, he drops a jukebox, which pairs really well with the pig step disc from earlier, or you can use it to play my favorite music disc, which drops from the infected upgraded Titan speaker man as well. Overall, I think the speaker man is one of my favorite mobs so far, so I'm gonna give him a 10 out of 10 as well. The dance is just too good. Next, I'll make a large speaker man, and since I used a Vex for a small speaker man, I'm gonna use an evoker for the big one. First, let's delete all this stuff, and next I'm gonna use the regular speaker man's leg, but I'm just gonna make it bigger. Now let's copy the leg over to the other side, and we'll just shape his body so it fits his legs. Now let's color his legs black for now, and we'll color in his white shirt on the top as well. Okay, now that's looking pretty good. Let's start to give him some arms, and we'll just copy this over to the other side. Now let's color the arms the same color as his shirt, and we're going to give him some long fingers as well, and now it's time to add his head. So let's just color the speaker in dark black, and we'll add the first speaker part in the bottom middle like this, and let's just add a few more of these and also color around them a bit. And now it's time to add a few more details like this belt down on here, and we're also gonna give him some texture as well, and I think that looks really good. Let's see him in game. This is the large speaker man in game. He is definitely a lot larger than a regular speaker man, and just like the regular speaker man, you can make this guy dance as well, although it looks kind of broken because I just copied it from the original speaker man. The large speaker man is a lot more powerful than a regular speaker man by far. He is actually so powerful that he's able to one-shot himself with his own attack. I also made it so his attack animation looks kind of like a punch because it was supposed to be for his melee attack. The only problem is that he only uses his ranged attack, so it's useless. If a large speaker man dies, he drops a cat music disc because some of the other ones drop music discs, so I decided to just do that. And honestly, that's all there really is. He's just a large version of the speaker man. I think I'm gonna give the large speaker man a 9 out of 10. I like how he looks, but I don't think he's better than the regular speaker man. Next, I'm gonna make a large cameraman, and I'm gonna use a pillager because we haven't used that yet. So let's just remove a few of the things we don't need, and I'm mainly gonna use the same body as the large speaker man, so let's add the legs first, and we'll just color them in all black like this. And now let's copy over the large speaker man's body, and we'll just color this black for now as well. And now let's just copy over the arms from the large speaker man as well, and we'll color these in just like we colored in the other parts before. Alright, now it's time to turn this head into a camera. So first we're gonna make the lens part of the camera like this, and we'll add the film part coming off the back like this. And now let's just add a few more details, and we'll color the front part of the camera black, and now let's color the back part a similar color, and we're gonna color the film a lighter gray so it stands out. And now that looks pretty good, so next we need to add the detail to his shirt. I'm gonna start by adding a tie like this, and then I'm gonna add a coat on the top because all the cameramen wear these long coats. And now I'm just gonna add a bit of texture around his body like this, and I think that looks good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the large cameraman in game. He kind of reminds me of the large speaker man. I won't lie, his legs going through his coat like this looks kind of weird, but other than that, he looks pretty good. I also made the large cameraman noticeably shorter than the large speaker man because he's supposed to be the shortest out of the large variants. The large cameraman has more health and does more damage than a regular cameraman, but I decided to make it so he only melees, unlike the large speaker man. It's probably for the better though, as we saw what happened before. In the series, the large cameraman has a baton which he uses to stun toilets, so I made it so he drops a stick when he dies, which is supposed to be a baton. The large cameraman also stuns low-level toilets when he hits them, which is supposed to act as the baton shocking them. Like usual, I gave the large cameraman a thumbs up animation, and this time there's absolutely no possible confusion because I made his arm bend. Overall, I don't like the large cameraman as much as the speaker men, so I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10. Next, I'll make a TV man, and I'm gonna use an Enderman because the TV man teleports. First, we'll change the shape and size of his legs because they were a little big. And now let's color this in, and we'll also give him some shoes. Now let's add the top part of his legs like this, and now it's time to make his body. The TV man wears a large trench coat, so we're gonna add that over top as well. And now it's time to change the shape of these arms, and we'll also rotate it a bit like this. And now let's just give him some fingers like we've done for the other mobs. Okay, now that's looking pretty good. It's time to add his head. First, I'll make the black outlines that go around the TV screen, and then I'll add the bluish screen that the TV man has on the inside. And I think that's pretty good. Let's just add a few more details. First, let's add some buttons on the front of the coat like this, and we'll just make some parts a little bit darker like this as well. And now finally, we'll just add a little bit more texture over the top, and I think that looks good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the TV man looks in game. He's a lot taller than I thought he would be. Similar to the TV woman and the Titan TV man, I made it so the TV man flashes between nothing and one of the faces he does as well. In the actual series, the TV man is able to stun the toilets with his screen, so I gave the TV man a ranged attack which stuns low-level toilets just like the large cameraman does when he hits them. The attack itself doesn't do much damage, but if there are other alliance members around, it allows them to easily finish the toilets off. The TV man is also able to teleport when he gets low, just like the TV woman. And if you kill the TV man, he drops an ender pearl because he's an enderman and I just didn't change it. Overall, I don't think the TV man turned out that bad, but he's also not amazing, so because of that, I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. Next character I'll make is the moist critical toilet, and I'm gonna use a creeper to make him. Let's start by removing all this stuff because we don't need it, and we're gonna take the regular toilet's body and copy it over here. Now let's color the whole toilet a dark grayish color. Now let's color his neck for now, and it's time to work on his upgrades. First, we'll put this gray thing on the front like this, and let's add some of the black spots as well. And now let's change the shape of the toilet seat a bit like this. Next, we'll give him the computer part on the top. Now let's expand this part out a bit like this, and now let's add a few more details to the bottom one as well. Next, I'm going to add his jetpack, so let's add a big cube like this. Now let's add some more details to it so it isn't just a black cube. Next, let's add more armor on the bottom part here, and we'll give him the small cannons that he has on each side like this. And now let's add the big cannon here as well, and we'll just copy this to the other side. Obviously, this creeper head doesn't look like moist critical, so let's color this part in, and we'll start to give give him some hair like this. Now let's draw his eyes, and I'm going to make them look like this because he has a lot of pupils. Next, we'll give him a nose, and we'll also add some facial hair on the bottom. Now let's add his glasses over top. Okay, I don't think that looks bad. Let's add him to the game. This is how the moist critical toilet looks in game. He definitely looks good. Well, the toilet part looks good, but it kind of looks like he has buck teeth. In the series, the Jesus toilet mimics the TV attack, so I gave him the same attack that the TV woman and TV man have. And this makes him pretty powerful as he's able to take out multiple large cameramen at once. Not enough to take out the Titan speaker man though. If you kill the Jesus toilet, he drops nothing, which is weird because I thought I gave him a drop. And if you listen closely, you can hear him making a woo sound. This is the moist critical toilet's reaction to you subscribing. Overall, the moist critical toilet doesn't look that bad, so I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the glitch toilet, and I'll use a chicken to make him. First, we'll delete the parts we don't need, and now let's copy the toilet over from the regular toilet. Now let's color the toilet a really dark gray. Next, let's add a plate on the front like this, and we'll just connect these plates to the toilet down here. And now I'm just gonna add the little things that stick out on the side like this. Okay, that looks good. Now let's work on the back of the toilet. First, I'm gonna change the shape a little bit like this, and now I'm going to add this gray thing he has up here, and we'll just add another layer underneath, and then we'll add one more layer like this, and we'll color this one darker gray. Now let's add a long piece right here, and we'll copy this over to the other side too. And next we'll add another piece on the side like this, and I think that looks pretty good. Now it's time to work on his head. First, let's color in his neck, and then we'll color his head as well. And now I'm going to give him some creepy eyes like this. Next, we'll add his mouth on the bottom, and we'll also put the little amount of hair he has up here. Okay, that looks really bad, so let's just change the whole face a little bit, and we'll give him some ears like this, and I think that looks better. Let's add him to the game. This is the glitch toilet in game. I'm not sure if giving him this head was a good idea. I also love how he makes chicken noises. It just doesn't fit him at all. The glitch toilet is ridiculously fast, so it kind of looks like he's glitching, and I also made his head animation look like it's glitching as well instead of being smooth like the other toilets. When the glitch toilet attacks another mob, he starts glitching around like crazy, sort of like his super speed attack in the real series, and he's actually able to kill the Titan speaker man by making him attack himself because he's glitching so much. If you kill the glitch toilet, he drops nothing, but this time it was intentional because I wanted to make him drop a glitched item, but it just didn't work. Overall, I think the glitch toilet looks creepy, but he's still pretty good, so because of that, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Next, I'll make the ninja cameraman, and I'm going to use a husk because I'm running out of villager hating mobs. First, let's just use the original cameraman body to start, and I'm gonna remove his headphones because I don't know why I even added these. Now let's move his head up a little bit, and we'll also make his neck bigger. Next, I'm gonna color his camera a dark grayish color, and I'll color this thing slightly lighter. And now let's work on his body. First, I'll change the color of his tie area like this, and I'm going to make the whole suit a lighter gray, so let's just color this in, and then we'll color his pants in as well to match it. And now let's move the coat back, and we'll color it darker gray as well. Next, I'm gonna color his hands black, and I'm also gonna give him some fingers as well, because the old cameraman didn't have them. And now let's start to add the light things under his camera, and we'll just add another piece and color it lighter gray as well. Okay, now let's just add some extra details to his suit, and I'm gonna give him some texture like this. Now finally, let's add his plungers, and he's going to have one in each hand, so let's copy this thing over, and that looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the ninja cameraman in game. He basically looks like a normal cameraman. The only difference is he's wielding a couple of plungers, unlike this guy who has nothing. The plunger cameraman is slightly stronger than a regular cameraman, as he's able to one-shot a regular toilet. He also does good against a spider toilet as well, but the glitch toilet is definitely his weakness. I also made the ninja cameraman the first mob to drop a custom item, as he drops a plunger. The plunger does 1 more damage than a netherite sword, making it a really useful weapon. It also means you can one-shot toilets with it, making them no longer able to terrorize me. The ninja cameraman also has a thumbs up animation, which is more advanced this time because he puts the plunger away first. Don't ask how he gets it back though, he must be magical. I'm going to give the ninja cameraman a 9 out of 10. I just really like his plungers, I don't know why. Next, I'm gonna make the assailant astro toilet, and I'll use an allay because allay is kinda close to alien, I guess. First, I'm going to delete all this stuff we don't need, and like usual, let's take the body from the regular toilet. This time I'm going to color the toilet a brownish color, and I'm just gonna remove the bottom of the toilet to add a new bottom instead. So let's add some circular layers on the bottom like this, and we'll color them each a different shade of brown. This kinda looks like a Badlands biome. Now let's give the toilet some water up here, and it's time to start working on the ring that goes around him. I'm going to color the square orange like this, and then I'm gonna make another part inside, which is light gray. Now let's add the piece that connects it to his body right here, and I'm just gonna copy this thing all around his body so it's orbiting him. Okay, now that that's done, it's time to work on his head. I'm going to keep the allay head this time because we saw what happened last time, and we'll start adding a brown helmet all around his head, and I'm just gonna put the black stripes that he has on top of it, and that doesn't look that bad. Now let's add his camera. cannon. So let's just copy a bunch of these squares until it kind of looks like a cannon, and we'll just color this one red like this. Now finally, let's add some texture all around his body, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how it looks in game. This is the Astro toilet in game. Something definitely looks out of place. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have kept his head as an LA. It looks really weird. But other than that, he turned out pretty good, especially the rotating part. It looks so cool. In the actual series, the Assailant Astro toilet is able to instantly warp away, so I gave it a chance to randomly warp away in game as well, which is really annoying when you're trying to record it. The Astro toilet is the only mob that actually flies and doesn't just hover above the ground, which makes him really OP when he gets in a fight. I also made him attack the G-Man toilet because he is seen doing that in episode 60, but I wouldn't say his strength level is the same, as he barely does any damage to the G-Man toilet. Overall, I think the Astro toilet looks pretty good other than the LA head, so because of that, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Next, I'll make the Speaker Woman, and I'll use a Piglin because they both like dancing. Let's start by removing all of this stuff, and we'll make her legs a little bit longer like this. Now let's give her some shoes, and we'll color them pink, and now let's just color her pants a dark grayish color. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of her body a little bit like this, and I'll also make her arms a different shape as well. And now let's just color all this stuff in, and now it's time to work on her speakers. First, I'll make the main speaker like this, and then I'll put the little ones that she has on the side, and now we'll give her the main speaker part in the middle, and let's just add her headphones, and I think that looks pretty good. Now let's just add a few more details, like this purple part on her shirt, and this extra coat layer on top, and we'll just give her a bit of texture as well, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's add her to the game. This is how the Speaker Woman looks in game. She doesn't look that bad. Well, she looks kind of weird with the shaders, but it's fine. In the actual series, the Speaker Woman dances while she walks, so I made it so that when the Speaker Woman walks, her arms go up in the air, so it looks like she's dancing. Well, kind of. It doesn't really work. And of course, when you right-click the Speaker Woman, she does the regular speaker dance as well. The Speaker Woman is very powerful and can one-shot the low-level toilets. And I also made her attack animation look like she's loading her speakers up with knives, but it also looks like she's hitting the gritty. If the Speaker Woman dies, she drops a chirp music disc because there isn't a pink music disc, so red is kind of the same. And overall, I think the Speaker Woman turned out okay, but she definitely wasn't the best, so I'm going to give her a 7 out of 10. Next character I'll make is the Mutant Skibbity Toilet, and I'm going to use the Wandering Trader, even though I already used him because that didn't really count. First, let's get rid of the stuff we don't need, and I'm gonna use the large Speaker Man's body, so let's just paste a head on like this. Now let's start to change the shape of his body, and we'll color this part white because it's gonna be a toilet. Now let's extend this toilet part out a bit more, and we'll add these outlines, which will be the seat like this. Next, let's give him a new tie because we got rid of the old one, and now it's time to make him look a bit more mutated. First, I'm gonna move his arms down, and I'm gonna rotate them a bit to make them stick out. Next, we'll give him a neck piece like this, and we'll start adding the pipe that comes out of the back of his head. Let's just add some gray spots all around the toilet like this, and we'll color the tie a little bit more red. And now let's add some texture on the back part and on the neck like this, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the mutant toilet looks in game. This guy definitely looks pretty weird, especially the head part, which not only rotates, but now it changes size as well. In the series, the Skibbity Man is meant to be really fast, so I made the mutant toilet run really fast in game as well. This also makes him really powerful, as nothing is really able to get away from him. The only way to get away from him is by subscribing. If you kill the mutant toilet, he drops a zombie head, because mutant is kind of the same category as zombies. I don't really know, it's all I could think of. And overall, I think the mutant toilet looks pretty good, but there are a few problems like this weird texture on the back. So because of that, I'm going to give the mutant toilet a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the large TV man, and I'll use an ender dragon because I used an enderman for the regular TV man. First, let's delete all the dragon parts because we don't need those, and I'm gonna use the regular TV man as a base, so let's copy all of this over here. Next, I'm gonna make his body bigger, so let's do that. Now let's add a new coat over the top as well, and next I'm gonna work on his arms. I'm gonna make the arms a little bit bigger, so let's just do that. Now I'm gonna color both of these arms the same color as his suit. Okay, now that's looking pretty good. It's time to give him his TVs. First, I'm going to add the thing that connects them to his body right here, and we'll color this whole thing a lighter gray. And now let's remove all this stuff and change the head into a TV. Now let's add some outlines on the side, and we'll color them a darker black like this. And we'll also color in his noisy TV screen. Now let's just add a stick coming out from the side like this, and we'll just put a smaller TV that looks the same coming off of it. And now let's copy this over to all four sides like this, and I think that's looking really good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the large TV man looks in game. I have to say he's definitely one of my favorites out of the TV people. I will say it's kind of weird that he makes ender dragon noises though. The large TV man is really powerful as he's able to kill multiple mutant toilets at the same time. I can't really remember if that's accurate or not, so I'm sorry if it isn't. The large TV man also has the same attack as the TV woman, as it's the closest thing I'm able to make to his actual attack in the series. Also similar to the the TV woman, if the large TV man gets low on health, he will teleport away before he can be killed, although he doesn't teleport really far. Overall, I think the large TV man turned out pretty good in game. I especially like his TVs, so because of that I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 because he deserves it. Next I'll make the Detainer Astro Toilet, and I'm gonna use a Wandering Trader Llama to make him. First let's remove all the parts we don't need like usual, and then I'll take some of the parts of the Assailant Astro Toilet and copy it over. Now let's color the top part of the toilet a brownish gray like this, and now let's just add another smaller part on the bottom here, and that looks pretty good. So now it's time to add the circle part he has on the bottom. First I'm gonna make a rectangle like this, and now let's just copy this rectangle over and over again until it kind of looks like a circle. Next I'm gonna color in the toilet water right here, and I'll move the llama head down so it looks like it's coming out of the water. Next I'm gonna give him a helmet because the Astro Toilets wear helmets, and I'm not gonna lie, that kind of looks like it's supposed to be hair, but it's fine. Now I'm gonna give him his arms, starting with the one on the top, and I'm gonna add a claw looking thing that's attached to the arm, and I think that looks fine. So now let's work on his right arm. Now we'll add the clamp thing he has on the end here, and we'll copy one on the other side so it looks a bit better. Let's do the same things we did for the last arm, except this time we're gonna give him a knife attached on the end, and let's just add the little things that come off the sides like this, and I think that looks good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the Detainer Astro Toilet in game. I was definitely expecting the llama head to look a bit worse. It's a lot better than his knife at least, which kind of looks like a peeled banana that is spinning. Similar to the Assailant Astro Toilet that we made last time, the Detainer Astro Toilet also has the ability to randomly warp away, and once again this doesn't really help when you are trying to record him. The Detainer Astro Toilet is also able to fly just like the Assailant one, but this time it doesn't really help him because most of the time he just forgets to attack his enemies. If you kill the Detainer Astro Toilet, he drops a chorus fruit because when you eat them you teleport just like he teleports. And the Detainer Astro Toilet also attacks the G-Man Toilet just like the Assailant did, but it doesn't really seem like he's gonna kill him anytime soon. Overall, the Detainer Astro Toilet didn't turn out that great, so because of that I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Next I'm gonna make the Rocket Toilet, and I'll use a bee to make him because it can fly. I don't know, I'm running out of mobs. First I'm gonna delete the legs off the bee. Now let's color the toilet a dark grayish color, and we'll change the bottom of the toilet a little bit like this. Now let's remove the toilet seat, and we're gonna change the back of the toilet as well. So let's just make this piece bigger, and now we'll copy it a few times and rotate it like this, and let's just change the shape of the top part and move it as well. Now that looks pretty good, so let's add the wall he has in the back, and we'll color the wall the same color as the toilet like this. Now let's also give him a floor just like the wall. Now this is looking pretty good. Let's add his rockets. I'm going to make a small square like this, and then I'm gonna make a smaller one on the inside. Now let's copy this until we have 3 of them on each side, and now let's color the middle piece a slightly lighter gray, and we'll also add a little bit of texture like this. Now let's give the bee a neck, which makes no sense, but it looks better than if he's floating, and we'll also add a helmet just like the Astro Toilets had. Now let's just add some fire coming out of the rockets, and I think that's looking really good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the Rocket Toilet looks in game. Something about this looks kind of weird. Using the bee as the head was fine, but it kind of looks like the bee has Elvis hair, I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, the Rocket Toilet actually looks pretty cool. The Rocket Toilet is incredibly powerful, and he's able to one-shot most of the mid-level Alliance members. He also makes an explosion every time he attacks something, and the only real problem is that he dies most of the time he attacks. That's similar to what happened in the actual series though. If you kill the Rocket Toilet, he drops a firework rocket because that was in his name and it's kind of funny, but I have a feeling you won't be killing the Rocket Toilet as he does a ton of damage. Overall, I think the Rocket Toilet doesn't look that bad, but he just looks kind of boring, so because of that I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Next I'll make a Speaker Strider, and I'm gonna use a Strider to make it because it's in the name. First let's remove the hair because we don't need it, and next I'll change the shape of the legs a bit like this. Now let's move these legs way further apart, and we'll shape the main Strider head into a speaker like this. Next I'm gonna make another part of the leg, and we'll make this part a bit thinner, and we'll also add a thinner part on the bottom. Now I'm gonna copy this leg onto each side like this, and next let's add some cubes on the back of the speaker as well. Now I'm gonna color the entire speaker dark gray, and I'm gonna color the legs a little bit lighter gray, and now it's time to work on the details on the speaker. First let's add some walls on the sides like this, and we'll add the main speaker thing here in the middle. Now let's just add a few more walls going the other way, and we'll just add a cube on top of the speaker part like this. Next I'm gonna color in all these parts different colors of gray, and I'm gonna add a few more black parts on the side. Now let's give the speaker some extra detail like this, and I think that's looking pretty good. Let's see how it looks in game. This is the Speaker Strider in game. He actually looks really good. Not that it was very hard to make him look good though. It's not a very complicated design. Similar to the Strider Toilet I made a while ago, I made it so you can ride the Speaker Strider as well, which looks kind of weird, but this time I had a reason to do it because the Speaker Striders are controlled by speaker men, so this is kind of the same thing. The Speaker Strider is also able to climb walls like a normal spider can, but the only problem is I forgot he takes fall damage. If you kill a speaker strider, you get a jukebox, which I'm pretty sure I've used as a drop before, but this time it makes a lot more sense. And if the speaker strider gets in a fight, I just gave him the regular speaker attack, but for some reason he waits until he is really close to use it. Overall, I think the speaker strider looks really good, so I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Next character I'll make is the airstrike toilet, and I'm going to use a blaze to make him because they can both fly. First, let's get rid of these things because we don't need them, and I'm going to use the body from the regular toilet, so let's copy that on. Next, let's put the shield thing that he has in the front here, and now let's start to work on the first rocket underneath. Now let's copy this thing over to the other side. Next, let's make a fan like this, and we'll just copy this fan all around until there are 6 fans. Alright, now this body is looking good, it's time to give him some color. First, let's color these shield things a little bit lighter gray, and we'll color his rockets a few different colors as well, and we'll just color the toilet water blue, and now it's time to give him a head. Now we'll give him some hair like this, and I'll just give him a mouth and some eyes, and finally let's give him some headphones on top of his head. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the airstrike toilet looks in game. This guy actually looks pretty cool. I will say it's kind of weird that he makes blaze noises though, they are a bit loud. The airstrike toilet isn't the most powerful toilet in the game, but he's still pretty good, as he's literally able to one-shot a large speaker man. It's not the same for a Titan speaker man though, as he's actually immune to his attacks just like in the actual series. Subscribe if you want to be immune like the Titan speaker man. The airstrike toilets are usually seen working in groups, so I made it so that there's a chance that 3 of them spawn when one of them gets attacked. This makes it really annoying to kill them, especially if you are using your fist. If you kill the airstrike toilet, he drops a TNT because that is the closest thing in the game to an airstrike, and overall I think the airstrike toilet turned out pretty good other than the blaze noises. They are very annoying. So because of this, I decided to give the airstrike toilet a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the new police toilet, and I'll use a guardian because it has guard in the name, and guards are kind of like police. First, let's remove all this stuff that we don't need, and we'll just copy a toilet body with a jetpack over top like this. Now let's color this entire body a greenish gray color, and I'm gonna add one of these shields in the front like this. Now let's work on the thing that goes over top of his guns right here, and we'll just copy the gun underneath like this. Alright, now let's add a cube on the top that is gonna be his lights, and we'll color one side red and the other one will be blue. Okay, now this is looking good, so let's start to color some stuff in. We'll color a bunch of stuff dark gray like this. Now let's color his toilet water blue, and we'll color his neck in as well. And now it's time to work on his head. And now let's add his hat on the top. Next we'll give him a mouth, and we'll add a mustache on top. And let's give him a nose, and we'll also give him some eyes above that. And I think that is looking good. Let's add him to the game. This is the police toilet in game. I would say he definitely looks pretty good. The police toilet also makes some pretty weird noises, just like the airstrike toilet, except this time they are kind of scary. The police toilet is really powerful when he's able to attack and isn't just missing all his hits. And he even freezes his enemies when he hits them because he's placing them under arrest. Officer, I didn't kill those skibbity toilets, I swear. The police skibbity toilet is pretty fast, as you can see, which makes it really difficult to run from the police as well. I guess the only way to avoid going to jail is by fighting back. If you kill the police toilet, he drops a debug stick, which is supposed to be like a police baton. I don't really know. And overall, I don't think the police skibbity toilet turned out that bad. The only thing that really needs to be fixed is the scary noises he makes. I had no idea guardians sounded like that. But yeah, I think he looks good, so because of that, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 as well. Next, I'll make the knife speaker man, and I'm going to use a piglin brute because we made the speaker woman from a piglin. So let's delete all this stuff because we're gonna use a regular speaker man's body. Next, I'm gonna color his suit a way darker gray. Now let's color his undershirt a dark reddish color instead of gray. And now let's just make this layer dark gray as well. And let's add some red detail to his arms like this. Alright, now it's time to color in his speaker, so we'll just make his speaker a lot darker. Now let's color the actual speaker part a really dark red. Now let's give him a knife in his hand right here, and we'll also copy this knife into the other hand as well. Next, we'll start to texture his speaker again, just like we had it before. Okay, I think this guy's looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the knife speaker man in game. He actually looks pretty good. He also looks a lot more intimidating than a regular speaker man, despite being made from the same body. The knife speaker man seems to follow the trend of the previous 2 mobs, as he makes weird noises as well. I don't know how I keep picking all the weird sounding mobs. Similar to the other speaker men, if you right click the knife speaker man, he does the speaker man dance, but this time he's holding knives, which seems kinda dangerous. The knife speaker man also sits on regular skibbity toilets after killing them, just like the regular speaker man. There is a new animation for the knife speaker man though, and it happens when he spawns. This makes him 10 times more intimidating. Imagine seeing someone do a backflip before they start chasing you. The knife speaker man is pretty powerful, as he's able to defeat some of the higher level toilets easily. And if the knife speaker man dies, he drops a knife. Not an iron sword, that's a knife. Overall, I think the knife speaker Speaker Man turned out pretty good. I especially like his backflip. So because of this, I'm going to give the Knife Speaker Man an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the Jetpack Claw Toilet. And I'll use a cave spider to make him because he has spider-like legs. First, let's get rid of all the stuff we don't need. And I'll just copy a toilet body onto him like this. Now let's color the entire toilet light gray like this. And we'll start to make his legs a lot smaller. Now let's copy this leg until we have 2 legs on each side. And now it's time to give him some arms. Now we'll just add this thing that he has on the front of the toilet right here. And we'll start working on his jetpack on the back like this. And that's a pretty good body, so let's color everything in. First, we'll make some parts a little bit lighter gray. And we'll put some dark gray parts on the jetpack. Now let's just color the toilet water blue, and we'll color in his neck. Alright, now it's time to give him a head. And let's add some hair on the top like this. Now let's give him a mouth, and we'll add his eyes. And next, we'll just give him some eyebrows and a nose like this. Now finally, we'll just add some ears, and we'll give him some texture. And I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how it looks in game. This is the Jetpack Claw Toilet in game. It kind of looks like an upgraded version of the Strider Toilet. Also, just like the Strider Toilet, the Jetpack Toilet is really fast, making him pretty scary to get chased by. In the actual series, the Jetpack Claw Toilet ripped the head off a cameraman, so I decided to make it so that the cameraman drops his head when he dies to the Claw Toilet. The cameraman's head can then be used to one-hit a bunch of different mobs and also break every type of block pretty quickly. It's definitely a very balanced item. If you kill a Claw Toilet, he drops a goat horn, and you might be wondering why I made him drop this completely random item. I did it because it looks like a claw. That's the only reason. There's nothing special behind it. Overall, I think the Claw Toilet turned out good, but it's definitely not one of my favorites, so because of this, I decided to give the Jetpack Claw Toilet a 7 out of 10. Next, I'll make a helicopter speaker, and I'm gonna use a bat because they both fly. First, let's remove everything except the body because that's all we need, and we'll make this body a lot larger like this. Now let's start to add the outline part around the speaker right here. Next, I'm gonna add a thing to connect the propeller to it. Now let's make the first part of the propeller like this, and we'll copy this propeller around until there are 6 different propellers. Alright, now the body is pretty much done, so let's start to color it in. First, I'm gonna color this part dark gray, and next I'll color the entire outside an orangish color, and we'll make the actual propellers a lighter gray like this. Okay, now it's time to add the actual speakers to it, and we'll color the speakers a little bit lighter gray. Now we'll make a few more speakers above this one. Now I'm gonna add a light gray outline to all these speakers we added, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how it looks in game. This is the helicopter speaker in game. It actually looks really good. Obviously, it wasn't that hard to make it look good though. It's not a very complicated design. The bat noises that the speaker makes are also really loud, but it kind of makes sense because that's how the helicopter speaker attacks. The helicopter speaker is pretty powerful as its sonic boom attack is able to one-shot low-level toilets. But since the helicopter speaker uses a sound-based attack, it is only able to attack when there are no alliance members around to make sure it doesn't accidentally kill any of them. The helicopter speaker is also able to be ridden just like the Strider speaker, but this time you can't really see anything, so it's kind of useless. If you kill the helicopter speaker, it drops a jukebox because it's a speaker, so that's the only thing that makes sense. And the helicopter speaker is also not able to be infected by parasite toilets because apparently that isn't possible. Overall, the helicopter speaker turned out pretty good for what it is, and because of that, I decided to give it an 8 out of 10. Next character I'll make is the upgraded Mafia toilet, and I'm going to use a Wither because the Wither is probably in the Mafia. First, let's delete all this stuff because we don't need it, and I'm just going to use the body from the Claw toilet I made last time, and I'm just going to color the entire toilet a blackish brown color. Now let's add one of these armor plates on the front of the toilet. Now let's color these armor plates dark gray, and now it's time to add some stuff to his hands. First, I'm going to add the saw blade that he has on his right arm, and now let's add the acid cannon at the end of his other arm. Now let's copy paste a jetpack on the back as well, because I forgot he has a jetpack. Alright, I think this is a pretty good body, so now let's give him a head. First, I'm going to color his neck and his toilet water. Now let's give him some eyes and a mouth, and we'll also give him a nose and some eyebrows. And now let's just add his hat on top like this, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the Mafia toilet looks in game. This guy actually looks pretty good. I will say that the Wither noises are kind of weird though, but they also kind of fit him. As you can see, the Mafia toilet is massive, and he's also very fast, possibly even faster than the Jetpack Claw toilet that we made last time. Okay, I wanted to make them have a race, but I somehow made it so they attack each other by accident. The upgraded Mafia toilet is also super powerful as he's able to poison his enemies using the acid gun that he has on his arm. He also gives you nausea with it, as you can see, but this only affects players. I'm pretty sure the Titan cameraman doesn't mind. Subscribing the upgraded Mafia toilet won't give you nausea. If you kill the Mafia toilet, he drops a poisonous potato because he has an acid gun, so it's kind of like he poisoned the potato, I guess. And overall, I think the Mafia toilet looks pretty good, and I think his abilities are pretty cool. So because of this, I decided to give the Mafia toilet an 8 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make make the surveillance camera woman, and I'll use a zombie piglin because I made the speaker woman from a regular piglin. First, I'm gonna remove some of the stuff that we don't need. Now let's start working on her leg, and we'll copy it over to the other side. Next, I'm gonna change her body a little, and now let's work on her arms. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's time for us to add her head. First, I'm gonna remove these things, and let's just change the shape of her head like this. Now let's give her a neck, and now it's time to add some color. First, let's color her flashlight blue, and we'll color the whole outside of her head black like this. Next, I'm gonna color her shirt gray, and we'll color her pants a slightly darker gray. Next, I'm gonna give her a coat, so let's make a big cube like this, and let's color the outside parts of her coat gray, and we'll just draw the rest in right here. Next, I'm gonna add the gun on the back of her head, and I think this is looking good. Let's add her to the game. This is the camera woman in game. She definitely looks pretty cool. I will say the piglin noises don't really fit her though. I probably should have changed it to something else. There's also a random pink spot on the back here, but we'll just ignore that. It's not there. The camera woman is pretty fast, just like the mafia toilet is, and just like the mafia toilet, the camera woman also has a ranged attack that puts her in attack mode, as you can see. Her attack also freezes her enemies, making the camera woman actually super powerful. The camera woman can also TP away if she gets low on health, because there is a theory that she is able to teleport in the actual series. If you kill the TV woman, she drops a redstone lamp because it's supposed to be like her flashlight, and just like the other camera people, if you right click the camera woman, she does a thumbs up, but this time it's double. Overall, I think the camera woman turned out pretty good. She has a lot of cool features. So because of this, I decided to give the camera woman an 8 out of 10 as well. Next, I'll make the glitch plunger man, and I'm gonna use a drowned because I made the original plunger man from a husk. First, let's get rid of this stuff because we're gonna combine the glitch toilet and plunger man from before. Next, we'll add one of these wing things he has on the back, and we'll just copy it over until there's 4 of them. Now let's add one of these leg things in the front here as well, and now let's add these things on the side of the toilet where his arms are supposed to be. Okay, now the glitch toilet is looking a bit better, so it's time to add the plunger man. So first, we'll color the plunger part of the plunger red, and we'll also color the handle black. Now let's color the plunger man's camera in light gray, and I think that's good, so now let's change the colors of the glitch toilet a bit. First, I'm gonna color the actual toilet a lighter gray, and I'll color all the shields a lot lighter gray as well. Now let's color these leg things in the front really light gray, and I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the glitch plunger man looks in game. He looks really good. Just like the other mobs, he makes really weird sounds, but this time it kind of fits him because it's sort of like a plunger. There is also some kind of bite taken out of his head, but once again, we'll just ignore this. I never make mistakes. You've probably already noticed that the glitch plunger man is able to fly, and he also flies really fast, which makes it super annoying when you're trying to record this guy. The glitch plunger man is also pretty powerful, as he has a ranged attack that is supposed to be him shooting the plungers. Since the glitch plunger man is a repaired version of the original plunger man, I made it so that when the original plunger man dies, the glitch plunger man spawns and takes his spot. This makes him probably one of the most OP mobs in the game that isn't a titan. If you kill the glitch plunger man, he also drops a ranged plunger attack, which when thrown does a ton of knockback. And overall, I think the glitch plunger man looks pretty cool, so because of this, I decided to give him a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the scientist cameraman, and I'll use a giant to make him because the regular cameraman was a zombie. First, let's get rid of all this stuff because we're just gonna use the regular cameraman's body. Next, we'll add this little flashlight thing that he has under his camera, and I'm just gonna make it so his arms bend as well. Okay, now this is a good body, so let's start to recolor him. First, I'm gonna color his shirt a whitish gray like this. Now let's color the shirt underneath a lot darker gray like this, and now let's just color the outside of his camera white, and now it's time to start giving him his parasite disabler. I don't really know where to put it, so I'm just gonna put it on his back, and we'll just add a bigger part in the front here. Okay, now let's color this part light gray, and this one will be a bit darker, and I'm just gonna add a few more pieces on the outside like this, and let's just rotate it like this, and I think this is looking good. Let's add him to the game. This is the scientist cameraman in game. He basically looks the same as a regular cameraman. There is one slight difference other than the clothes though, and that's the parasite disabler gun that he has on his back. The scientist cameraman can use this gun to either cure alliance members from infection, or he can use it to permanently freeze parasite toilets on the spot. Yeah, this guy is not so scary anymore. Oh wait, he can still infect them. I also gave the scientist cameraman this cool animation when he shoots the parasite disabler, and there's also another animation which is the basic thumbs up that all the cameramen have. If you kill the scientist cameraman, he drops a parasite disabler gun, and when you have this weapon, you can become the scientist cameraman, as it literally just does the same things that he does. I guess this means that we don't need this guy anymore. Overall, I think the scientist cameraman looks pretty good, and his gun is definitely a cool addition to the game. So because of this, I'm going to give the scientist cameraman an 8 out of 10. Next, I'll make the scientist TV man, and I'm going to use a zombie villager because we haven't used that yet. First, I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff because we'll just use a TV man's body instead. And now it's time to color him in. So first, I'm gonna make his coat a really light gray color. And we'll just redraw the front of his coat like this. Next, I'm gonna recolor his TV to make it a little bit darker. And we'll just change the TV screen to make it way brighter as well. Now let's change the color of his shirt underneath to be a darker color. And I'm just gonna recolor his pants as well to reset the texture. Next, let's give him some pants right here, and we'll add a belt over top as well. Now I'm gonna add the little thing that he has on front of his shirt right here. And I'm also gonna add the antenna thing that comes from behind his TV like this. And I think this turned out really good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is the scientist TV man in game. This guy doesn't look too bad. I'm hoping this is what he's supposed to look like though, because you can only really see half of him as of right now. Just like the other TV people, I made it so the scientist TV man's screen flashes between nothing and a face, but since it's unknown what face this guy makes, I just made it the smile like the regular TV man. The scientist TV man also has a teleport ability, but unlike the other TV people, he just uses it instantly after being attacked because the scientists aren't known for fighting. According to theories, it is possible that the scientist TV man heals Alliance members with his TV screen, so I decided to make it so that he can heal Alliance members when he hits them as well. It's kinda weird because it makes them attack him back, but at least he's able to teleport away. Overall, I think the scientist TV man looks pretty cool, but he's definitely not one of my favorite mobs. So because of this, I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. Next character I'll make is the new Titan TV man, and I'm gonna take the old Titan TV man and upgrade him. First, let's get rid of some of his previous upgrades, and we'll change the shape of his body a little bit like this. Next, I'm gonna change his arms a little bit, and we'll also make his main TV a little bit wider. Now let's start to add some TVs on the side of his arms. Now let's add the smaller TVs that are behind his main one. Alright, now this looks pretty good, so let's start to color him in. First, I'm gonna color all the TV screens a light green, and we'll just color the sides of the TVs really dark gray. Now let's color in his belt even darker, and we'll also color in his shirt a similar color to the sides of the TVs. And now we'll start to add some detail to his coat. Next, let's give him a core in the middle like this. Now let's add a bit more detail to the top of his head. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the upgraded Titan TV man looks in game. He honestly looks really good. He's definitely a lot better than the previous two versions of the TV man, no offense to them. The upgraded Titan TV man is incredibly strong, as he's able to destroy the G-Man Toilet 3.0. I also added an attack animation that is just his head flying off because he does this in the actual series. The Titan TV man also strikes lightning when he attacks, as you can see, and this is kind of annoying with how fast he attacks. Just like all of the other TV people, the upgraded Titan TV man is able to teleport away if he gets low on health. But I don't think that's ever gonna happen, as the Titan TV man has 500 hearts. If you manage to kill the Titan TV man, he drops an energy blade, and if you use this energy blade, you will find that it does a ton of damage, and it also strikes lightning just like the Titan TV man's attack does. Overall, I think the upgraded Titan TV man turned out really good, even though the shaders removed a lot of his detail. So because of this, I'm going to give the Titan TV man a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm going to make the G-Man 4.0 toilet, and I'll use the G-Man 3.0 that I made as a base. First, I'm going to get rid of some of the stuff we don't need, and let's change the shape of the back of the toilet like this. Next, I'm going to remove some of these cannons that he has, and I'll just add these platform things that he has underneath the top cannons, and we'll also copy the old cannons to the bottom like this. Next, I'm going to change the bottom of the toilet a bit to make it more thick, and I'm also going to add these things that he has on the bottom as well, and I'm going to put even more cannons on the top of the toilet like this, and I'm just going to add his core in the middle here, and I think this is good. Now it's time to color this guy in. First, I'm going to color the back of the toilet really dark gray, and I'm going to color the actual toilet part a lot lighter gray, and we'll color the core light yellow. Next, I'm going to color in a few more of these random parts like this. Now let's add a bit more detail to the bottom right here, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's add the G-Man toilet to the game. This is how the G-Man toilet 4.0 looks in game. I think he's significantly better than 3.0. I will say the back of his toilet looks a little bit weird though. I definitely prefer the old design. The G-Man 4.0 is really fast, as you can see, and he is also way more powerful than the G-Man 3.0. Despite him being very powerful though, he is still no match for the new upgraded Titan TV man. The Titan TV man barely lost any health. It's gonna take like 10 of these guys to take him out. If you kill the G-Man toilet, he drops his sunglasses, and upon wearing these sunglasses, you will become immune to low-level TV attacks. Just ignore the fact that the glasses are over top of my forehead though. I honestly have no idea how this even happened. Overall, I think the G-Man 4.0 looks pretty good, but there are a few things I don't really like about him. So because of this, I decided to give the G-Man toilet an 8 out of 10. The next character I'll make is the real scientist toilet, and since I've made the toilet mech already, we'll just start from this. So first, let's get rid of the stuff we don't need, and I'm gonna rotate his arms to turn them into legs. Next, I'm gonna make the toilet bowl a lot wider. Now let's change change the shape of the back of the toilet a little bit, and I'm just gonna start adding his cannon on the top like this, and I'll just copy a jetpack from one of the previous toilets on the back. Okay, now I think this is looking good, so let's start to give him some color. First, I'm gonna color the entire toilet dark gray, and I'll just color in the jetpack a bit darker gray. Now let's color the details on the jetpack a lot lighter gray. Now let's color in a few more random things, and I'll put a yellow spot in the middle of the cannon, and I'm just gonna remove everything from around his face because I can't really tell what his face is supposed to look like, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the scientist toilet looks in game. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like this guy. It's probably because of the default skeleton head that I gave him, even though it actually kind of looks like his real head. But this is the scientist toilet and not the scientist toilet mech, so he's not really expected to look as good. Since the scientist toilet controls the scientist toilet mech in the series, I decided to make it so that when the upgraded scientist toilet dies, the regular scientist toilet spawns in. The regular scientist is also afraid of most alliance members, so he will just run away instead of fighting. He is able to use a ranged attack on some of the enemies that he finds easy to kill though, and as you can see, it actually does a lot of damage. The scientist toilet is very slow when he's walking, as you can see, and this is just because I read that he's slow. I'm not really sure if that's even true. If you kill the scientist toilet, he drops an enchanted golden apple, and overall I don't think the scientist toilet looks that good. He just looks kinda boring. So because of this, I decided to give him a 6 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make the G-Man clones. The first clone I'll make is the Laser Ring G clone, and for this one we're obviously going to use the G-Man to start. First, I'm gonna get rid of some of the stuff we don't need, and I'll move these shields to the front of him like this. Now let's change one of these cannons up a little bit, and we'll just remove all the other ones and replace them with the new one I made, and we'll just start to add a jetpack on the back like this, and I think this is looking good, so it's time to add some color. First, I'm gonna make the cannon slightly lighter gray. Next, I'm gonna start coloring the actual toilet a lot darker gray. Now let's move these cannons around because they're kind of close together, and we'll just make the glasses the same as the G-Man 4.0, and I think this looks good. Let's see how it looks in game. This is how the Laser Ring G clone looks in game. I'm pretty sure I made him a little too big, but other than that, he looks pretty good, and also scary. This guy is armed with way too many cannons. The Laser Ring G clone is able to move pretty fast, as you can see, and he also has a ranged attack that is similar to the regular G-Man toilet. Actually, it's exactly the same. I didn't bother changing it. If you kill the Laser Ring G clone, he drops the G-Man sunglasses just like the G-Man 4.0. And overall, I don't think the first G clone turned out that bad, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Next, let's make the Quad Rocketeer G clone. So first, let's start from the Laser Ring clone. First, I'm gonna remove all of his cannons like this, and we'll just give him a new shield in front that is a little bit more flat. Next, I'm gonna add the big thing on the side like this. Now let's start adding the quad launcher on the bottom, and we'll just copy this over to the other side so there's 2. And now it's time to color this in. First, I'm gonna color these strips dark blue, and now let's color in the quad launchers. Next, I'm gonna color his shield dark gray, and I'm just gonna change the shape of the back of the toilet like this, and I think this is looking good. Let's see it in game. This is how the Quad Rocketeer G clone looks in game. I definitely think he looks a lot better than the previous clone. Not much is different between this clone and the Laser Ring G clone other than the appearance, but the Quad Rocketeer G clone actually has a slightly different attack, although both of them look pretty similar. The Quad Rocketeer G clone also drops a piece of TNT when it dies because he has a bunch of rocket launchers, so it just made sense. Overall, I think the Quad Rocketeer looks a lot better than the Laser Ring G clone, so because of this, I decided to give him an 8 out of 10. Now let's make the Quad Buzzsaw G clone. First, I'm gonna remove the things on the side like this, and now we'll start to give him an arm on the side, and let's add the buzzsaw on the end of the arm like this. Now let's color this arm a bunch of different grays, and we'll just copy this arm all around until he has 4 of them, and that's literally all we had to do. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the Quad Buzzsaw G clone looks in game. I'm not really sure if I like this guy or not. I will say that he looks better than the first G clone though, but that's probably because I can actually see him and not just a bunch of cannons. The difference between this G clone and the others is that this G clone is only able to melee attack instead of a ranged attack, which makes sense considering he has a buzzsaw toilet. I don't really know how he would be shooting anything. If you kill the Quad Buzzsaw G clone, he drops a netherite sword, and this is because it's supposed to be like a saw. I don't really know. Overall, I think the Quad Buzzsaw G clone looks a lot better than the Laser Ring G clone, but not as good as the Quad Rocketeer. So because of this, I'm going to give him a 7.5 out of 10. Next, I'm going to make 8 of the characters seen in episode 69, and some of the first characters we see in this episode are the Skull Toilets and the Burning Toilet. So first I added the Skull Toilet to the game, and I have to say it was looking kinda goofy. With this one, I actually tried to give him a custom skull instead of just using the regular skeleton like I've used before. I also colored this toilet in slightly darker than the original Skibidi Toilet because I think it fits him a lot better than bright white. As for the Burning Toilet, I decided to keep this guy bright white rather than coloring his toilet gray. And as you can see, I also removed his eyes eyes to make him blind because apparently he's blind, and I also gave him a little bit of hair on the top of his head because it looks like he has hair in the series. The burning toilet is always on fire, as you can see, and the trail of fire will follow him wherever he goes, and he's actually burning so hard that not even water can save him. A cool feature that the skull toilet has is that you can feed it a golden apple to cure it and turn it back into a regular skibbity toilet. And if you want to revert this change for some reason, you can also just kill the regular skibbity toilet and it will turn back into a skull toilet like this. I guess we just have to put these guys in jail. There's no other way to get rid of them. When you finally kill the skull toilet, I made it so that he drops a skull, and the skull is actually just a troll item because it freezes you forever and also gets cursive binding applied to it when it's worn. I guess that I'm the one who's in jail now. Overall, I think the skull toilet looks a little bit weird, but I think the burning toilet actually turned out pretty good. So I decided to give the skull toilet a 7 out of 10, and I'm going to give the burning toilet a 9 out of 10. Another character seen early on in this episode is the blue-suited cameraman, who is seen holding some kind of hacking device, which I'm pretty sure is supposed to be used to open the doors. So I made the blue-suited cameraman drop this hacking device, and instead of opening doors, because that's a simple task, I made it so that this device can just destroy everything very fast. This is sort of like hacking, it's just a different kind. As for the design, I basically just took the regular cameraman and turned him into a blue cameraman. The only difference is that the blue cameraman has an actual thumbs up animation instead of what we gave to the regular cameraman. Now obviously the blue cameraman is cool, but there's actually another colored cameraman in this episode, the green suited cameraman. The green suited cameraman actually comes in a pair of two. Apparently they're supposed to be twins. And these guys are kinda dumb because they probably died trying to fight the Michael Jackson toilet. I don't know how they even thought they had a chance. The green suited cameramen are seen holding paralyzer laser rifles, so I decided to make it so that these guys drop one of those when they die. And if you shoot something with this rifle, it just paralyzes it, just like it does in the actual series. Except this time, for some reason, it does a ton of knockback. I don't know why. Overall, I think both the blue and the green suited cameramen look pretty good, and the features they have aren't that bad. So because of this, I'm going to give them both an 8 out of 10. We talked about the Michael Jackson toilet earlier, so that is who I added next. The only problem is this doesn't really look like Michael Jackson. I honestly tried really hard to make his face and just couldn't do it. I don't know why. But that doesn't really matter because the rest of him looks good at least. Since this toilet is based off of Michael Jackson, I made it so that when you right click him, he actually moonwalks. Well, he's really just walking backwards, but it's the best I could do with a giant toilet. This toilet is also very fast, as you can see, and this is very similar to the Mafia Skibbity toilet that we made in a previous video. The Michael Jackson toilet is also one of the strongest toilets that only has a melee attack, as he can one-hit a bunch of the Alliance members. He could probably even one-hit me. This guy does more damage than a warden. If you kill the Michael Jackson toilet, I made it so that he drops a Michael Jackson hat, and when you wear this hat, it gives you permanent slowness 5, which you may think is a bad thing, but it's actually supposed to help you moonwalk just like him. Overall, I think the Michael Jackson toilet looks pretty bad. I mean, it doesn't even really look like him. So because of this, I decided to give him a 6 out of 10. In the episode, the zombie mutant Skibbity toilet randomly appears and rips the head off a cameraman. So the zombie mutant toilet is the next mob that I added. We've already made a mutant toilet in a previous video, so I just based this one off of the original design. But this time I actually gave him a custom face instead of the mob head that I gave the original mutant toilet. The zombie mutant toilet is a lot slower than a regular toilet is, and I did this because the zombie mutant is supposed to be sneaky, although I'm not really sure how this helps him as he's still really big. The zombie mutant toilet is also able to rip the head off a cameraman when it kills one, as it makes the cameraman drop its head when it dies. If you kill the zombie mutant toilet, he drops something called mutant flesh, and if you eat this, you just have a chance to either get a good or bad potion effect, so eat this at your own risk. Finally, I made the regular mutant toilet transform into a zombie mutant toilet when it dies, and I know this isn't accurate, but I just did it because he has zombie in his name. Overall, I think the zombie mutant toilet doesn't look that bad, and it has a couple of good features. So because of this, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. A very large cameraman with a minigun is seen for a second in this episode, so next I decided to add him. The armed very large cameraman is very similar to the regular large cameraman, except for the obvious giant minigun that he is holding. And I also added a few more new details, and I made it so that he is a bit larger than the large cameraman because it says very large in his name. Unfortunately, due to the giant minigun that is occupying both of his hands, the armed very large cameraman is not able to give a thumbs up, which really makes me wonder if he's okay. The very large cameraman is also so big that explosions and fire can't hurt him, which doesn't really make that much sense, but I figured he deserved it since there's no thumbs up. Since he's carrying a giant minigun, the armed large cameraman's movement is also very slow, just like the zombie mutant before. But that doesn't mean this guy isn't scary, because if he gets in a fight, he will rapidly shoot the minigun until whatever he is shooting at is dead. He also seems to have stormtrooper aim though, maybe he needs to get his lens checked. If you kill the very large cameraman, I obviously made it so that he drops his minigun, and the minigun pretty much works the same way that it works for him, except this time my aim is not nearly as bad. It also makes this popping noise, which sounds nothing like a gun. I have no idea why I chose this. And overall, I think the very large cameraman is a pretty good upgrade from the regular cameraman. So because of this, I'm going to give the armed very large cameraman a 9 out of 10. The medic cameraman is also seen around the same time as the very large cameraman, which is why he was the next mob I added. The only difficult part about making this guy was trying to give him the repair tool on his right arm, and that's because the only image I have of it barely even shows what it looks like. I mean, what is this? Everything else was pretty easy though, which is why he actually looks pretty good in game. Unlike our last cameraman, I made it so that the medic cameraman is able to give a thumbs up with his left arm instead of his right. And now we know that this guy is okay, despite having one arm. The medic cameraman is also strictly meant for repairing cameramen, so I made it so that he just attacks cameramen, but instead of hurting them, he's actually giving them healing. But this means that there is no one to heal the medic cameraman if he gets hurt, so I made it so that when you right-click the medic, it heals him as well so that he isn't left out. If the medic cameraman dies, I made it so that he drops his utility repair device, and upon hitting a cameraman with this device, it heals him, passing the medic cameraman's job onto you. Unfortunately for him, I don't really want to be stuck healing cameramen forever. Overall, I think the medic cameraman looks pretty good, and his features are exactly how they should be. So because of this, I'm going to give the medic a 9 out of 10. Finally, the highlight of episode 69 would probably be the new Titan cameraman. So of course I had to upgrade our old Titan cameraman next. The difference between this Titan and the last is of course the missing arm that I added right here, and also these brand new cannons that I added on his back, and a few more minor details to make him look a little bit better. There is one major difference in game though, and that is that the Titan cameraman can no longer thumbs up either. I know I could have just moved the animation to his other arm, but honestly it's funnier this way, so I'm keeping it. You may have also noticed that this version of the Titan cameraman can no longer fly, and this is because it was more of a problem than a good feature. I mean, where was he going? The Titan cameraman is still one of the most powerful mobs in the game, and if you kill the Titan cameraman, you can get this power for yourself as he drops a Titan cameraman core. The Titan cameraman core basically just gives you a bunch of different potion effects that make you super OP just like him. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it actually turn me into a Titan though. Overall, I think the new Titan cameraman is a lot better than the old, and because of this, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. I'm going to be remaking Minecraft mobs into Steal a Brain Rot. The first mob I'll make is Odin Din Din Dun, and I'm going to use a creaking to make him. First, let's get rid of a few things. Next, I'm gonna make his body bigger. Now let's make it round cause he's an orange, and I'm gonna give him some feet. Now let's change the shape of his arms, and I'll give him a hand on the bottom. Next, I'm gonna add the leaf thing on the top of his head, and I think he's looking pretty good. It's time to add color. First, I'm gonna color the entire orange. Next, we'll make his arms and legs a bit darker. Now I'm gonna color this top part green. Next, let's color in his nose, and I'll give him a mouth. Now let's add his eyes, and we'll color in his shoes. Finally, let's add a bit of detail, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. Here we have an Odin Din Dun in game. The way he walks is so tough. Definitely makes me want to buy him. Why is he jittering like this? Okay, I take it back. Maybe his walk isn't that good. Anyways, that doesn't take away from the fact that he looks really good in game. I mean, this might be one of my best brain rots yet. So let's steal this guy. I don't know where all my brain rots went from last time. It appears somebody stole them. This is Odin Din Dun in the real game. As you can see, he does a ton of damage and knockback because he's super buff. He also has so much health that you would probably never be able to win a fight against him. But that's okay because he is friendly as long as you don't attack him. And he will even pick you up and take you anywhere as long as you remain friendly. I wonder how this seating works. I think this position is a little bit strange. If Odin Din Dun somehow manages to die, he drops a definitely real orange. But don't try killing him with anvils though, cause he is immune to anvil damage for some reason. Just seems like something that he'd be able to do. And overall, I think that Odin Din Din Dun turned out really good. So because of this, I am going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I will make Pot Hotspot. And I am going to use a skeleton for this one. First, I'm gonna rotate his arms. Next, I'm gonna give him some feet. And I'll make his head into the shape of a phone. Next, I'll turn his head down a bit. Now let's turn this part into the phone he's holding. And I think that's pretty good. Let's add some color. First, I'll color in the back and sides of the phone. And let's add his screen like this. Now I'm going to color in the rest of his head. And we'll give him a face. And we'll add a bit more details to the face like this. Now let's change the color of the skeleton. And I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how Pot Hotspot looks in game. As you can see, he turned out pretty good. I will say his face looks a little bit scary though. But he is a skeleton, so that's fine. Skeletons are supposed to be scary. The animation that he has for walking also looks a little bit sus. But that's fine, we'll still steal him anyway. And now we can go see Pot Hotspot in the actual game. This is how he looks inside of real Minecraft. Still sus. If you catch Pot Hotspot looking down at his phone, you are able to kill him in one hit. 8. This is because he's not paying attention. Don't look at your phone while fighting. He's also immune to fire damage while looking at his phone. I don't know why. That's not a real thing. If you kill Pot Hotspot, he drops his phone. And if you try to use his phone, it has advanced security. It's definitely not just an end crystal. That's the security features. Anyways, Pot Hotspot looks really good. There's just a few things wrong with his face. So because of this, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Nubini Pizzanini, and I'm gonna use a zombie to make him. First, I'm gonna shrink down his head. Next, I'm gonna make the pizza on top of his head. Now let's make him the size of a Roblox character, and I'll just change the size of the pizza bit too. Okay, that looks pretty good. It's time to color him in. First, we'll color his head and arms yellow. Now let's color his shirt in light blue. Next, I'm gonna make his pants light green. Now let's color in the crust of his pizza, and we'll add some cheese on the top like this. Now let's add some pepperonis. Next, I'm gonna give him a face, and finally let's add some details to his shirt. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. It's time to see what he looks like in game. This is Nubini Pizzanini in the game. I don't know why, but he looks a little boring. To be fair, I don't know what I expected. He's basically just a Roblox noob. He does have this pizza on top of his head though. Unfortunately, right-clicking him does not let you eat it. Anyways, it's time to buy a Nubini. I hope we have enough money. Nubini can be kind of expensive, and this is what Nubini looks like in the actual game. As you can see, he looks exactly the same. What isn't the same though is that he is completely invincible to damage. This is to protect noobs. I am still allowed to kill Nubini though. The protection doesn't apply to me. And when I kill Nubini, he drops a pizza made of pumpkins. Definitely not a pumpkin pie. Honestly, Nubini looks pretty boring in the game, and he doesn't have that many features. So because of this, I am going to give him a 6 out of 10. Next, we will make Karker, and I'm going to use a horse for this one. First, I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Next, let's shape his body into the seat, and we'll add a back part like this. Next, I'm going to make his legs into the shape of chair legs, and I'll add some feet to the front ones. Now let's turn this piece into an arm, and we'll put some fingers here as well. Now let's copy this over to the other side, and I'm going to turn this part into his mouth. Next, we'll use this to give him a nose, and these parts are going to be his eyes. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. It's time to add color. First, let's color his entire body light green, and I'm going to color his lips a bit darker. Next, I'll color in his eyes, and I'm going to add a bit of detail like this. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. Here is the chair in the game. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce his actual name. As you can see, he has a different walking animation than the other brain rots. He has to wobble back and forth when he walks because he's a chair. His back legs definitely should be moving though. I don't know what's wrong with that. Anyways, let's just steal a chair, man. And this is what he looks like in the real game. If you right click on him, you are able to sit down on the chair. But you cannot control where you are going because that's not how chairs work. The chair picks your destination. He also is unable to drown for whatever reason. I feel like if you threw a chair into a lake, it probably wouldn't drown. So this one makes sense. If you kill the chairman, he gives you a wooden plank. This is because chairs can be made of wood. I don't think that this guy is made of wood, but I couldn't really think of a better block to make him drop. So he drops wood. And overall, I think the chairman turned out pretty good, but he's not the best brain rot I've made. So because of this, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. Next, I am going to make Las Tralaleritas, and we will use an axolotl to make them. First, let's get rid of the whole axolotl because we don't need it, and we will just use this Los Tralaleritos to make them instead. Let's replace all the blue parts with this pink color, and we'll do the same on the shoes, but make it a bit darker. Now let's color in the rest of their bodies bright white, and I'm going to make their lips lighter as well. Next, let's turn this into the bows that they have on their heads, and we'll color this light pink. And let's copy this over so each of them have one. Alright, I think that we are done. It's time to see what they look like in game. This is how they look in the game. As you can see, they look very similar to Los Tralaleritos from last video. But that's a good thing because they are supposed to look similar. The one on the left is missing eyebrows though. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, let's buy a Tralaleritas. And now we have a full row of brain rots in our base, so I think it's time to rebirth. This is how Los Tralaleritas looks in the real game. For some reason, they are very small. If you want to kill them, you will get a bucket of axolotl for the kill. Just think of it as one of them in the bucket instead of an axolotl. And if they end up swimming in water, I made sure to make it so that they can't drown, because they look like they would be able to live underwater. Overall, I don't think Los Tralaleritas is the best looking mob, so because of this, I decided to give them a 7 out of 10. Next, I'm going to make Chimpanzini Bananini, and we'll use the wither to make him. First, let's get rid of all the stuff we don't need. Then we'll change the size of his body. And we'll make it a little bit wider as well. Now let's change the size of his head, and we'll start to turn his body into a banana. Now let's start adding some peeled parts on the sides, and we'll copy this to the other side. Next, I'm gonna start to make his face, and we'll give him some ears, and I think this is looking good. Now let's color him in. First, we'll color this part dark green. Next, I'm gonna color some parts of his face red, and we'll make the banana completely yellow. Now let's give him some eyes, and I'm gonna add his mouth. Now finally, let's color this part brown, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. Okay, so we've made it to my Minecraft version of Steal a Brain Rot. It's really good, and it's definitely not unplayable. And this is what Chimpanzini Bananini looks like in game. As you can hear, he's got the wither sounds. It's very loud, so I probably shouldn't have added that. I also gave him like a flying animation. I don't think it's accurate, but whatever. I don't care. So I'm just gonna steal this guy and bring him to my base. Now he's in my base, which means we can take a look at some of the other features he has, like being able to do a ton of knockback when he hits you because banana peels are slippery. So it's like slipping on a banana peel, but the banana is hitting you instead. He also isn't able to take fall damage because I made him look like he's flying, and you probably don't take fall damage when you don't actually land on the ground. If you manage to kill a chimpanzini, you will get a blaze rod. This is because I didn't feel like adding a banana item, so a blaze rod is the closest looking thing. Just don't eat it. And overall, I think Chimpanzini Bananini turned out pretty good. And because of this, I am going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Orangatini Ananasini, and I will use an iron golem for this one. First, let's get rid of this, and we'll change his legs to make them a lot smaller. Now let's make his body into the shape of a pineapple, and we'll move his head down like this. Next, I'm gonna add his mouth, and we'll give him some ears. Now let's give him some shoulders, and I'm going to move his arm down like this. Next, let's make his arm look a little bent, and we'll give him a hand, and I think this is good. Now let's give him some color. Let's color his body in orange, and I'm gonna give him some brown hands and feet. Now let's color his face brown as well, and I'll give him some eyes and a mouth. Next, I'm going to color in the pineapple, and we'll give it a yellow pattern. Next, I'm gonna add the green part on his head, and I think that looks pretty good. It's time to see him in game. And as you can see, this is what he looks like in game. I'm not really sure why this top part ended up floating, but we're not gonna question it. The rest of him looks good. So let's steal Orangatini. Now I have 2 legendary brain rots, and this is Orangatini in the actual game. As you can see, he doesn't take that much knockback when you hit him. You could ask me why this is a feature, but I honestly have no idea. I think it's just because he is an iron golem. That's it. You also get a pufferfish when you kill this guy, and you can probably guess why I chose a pufferfish. Again, it's because I didn't feel like adding a pineapple to the game. So instead we get a pineapple with a face. Don't eat it. Regardless of the pufferfish, I think Orangatini looks pretty good, and because of this, I am going to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10, but the floating hair part dropped the rating. Next, I will make Glorbo, and I'm going to use a turtle to make him. Let's get rid of a few things. Next, I'm going to make his body into the shape of a melon. Let's make the melon a little bit rounded. Now I'm going to start shaping his neck, and we'll attach his head to the neck part like this. Next, I'm going to start changing the shape of his head, and I'll give him a nose. Now I'm going to give him some legs, and we'll copy this to the other side. Okay, now this looks pretty good. Let's start to give him some color. First, we're going to color this part green for now, and I'm going to color his legs darker green, and I'll do the same for his head and his neck. Now let's color in the bottom of his neck and head, and finally we'll change the green part to a melon texture. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is Glorbo in the game. For some reason, you have to punch him to make him walk in the line, but you might have noticed that just like in Steal a Brain Rot, Glorbo rolls instead of walks. Unfortunately, we don't see anything other than a melon though, so we have to steal him. And this is how Glorbo looks in the game. As you can see, he actually looks pretty good. I'm surprised because I thought this one would look pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. If Glorbo is rolling around, he becomes immune to projectiles because he's rolling so fast that he just deflects them. He isn't immune to swords though, as you can see. And if you kill him, you get a full watermelon. I don't think I have to explain why he drops one. You can probably figure it out. Since Glorbo is an alligator, if he ends up underwater, he will never drown. And if you see this in the water, you should stay away, because we all know what happens when you go in the water with a gator. Overall, I think Glorbo turned out better than I expected, so because of this, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'm gonna make Los Tralalaritos, and I will use a Vex to make them. First, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff because we don't need it, and let's make his head a little bit wider. Next, I'm gonna move his arms, and we'll make the body a bit bigger too. Now let's start giving him some legs, and we'll turn his arms sideways. Now I'm gonna add a little nose, and I think that looks good, so let's color him in. First, we'll color this part blue, and I'm going to color the front like this. Now let's color color his legs light blue, and I'm gonna make the bottom of his shoes white. Now this is good, so let's copy him and make 3 of them. Now I'm gonna give them some eyes, and I'll make their mouths. And I think this looks pretty good. Let's see what they look like in game. This is how Los Trallalaritos looks in game. As you can see, they look alright. Their faces do kind of look like they belong on dogs though, so that might need to be fixed. They also make kind of a scary noise when you get close to them, but that's fine because we found a secret. I'm sure it's gonna give us a lot of money in this real steal a brain rot game. If you try to damage these guys, it's impossible. You are not able to damage them. So you would probably like to know that if you kill them, you get a god apple because you can't kill them. So if you killed them somehow, you deserve it. Overall, I don't think Los Trallalaritos turned out as good as they could have. So for that, I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10. I don't know why, but something about their face just does not look right. Next, I will make Bombombini Gusini, and I'm going to use a ghast for this one. First, let's get rid of all the ghast's legs, and I'm going to flatten this part. Now let's shape it into the body of a plane, and I'm going to use this piece to make his feet. Now let's copy this over to the other side, and I'm gonna add some more details on the sides. Next, let's turn this cube into his wings, and I'm gonna make this into a tail. Now let's give him a neck, and we'll also give him a head. And I think this looks pretty good. It's time to add color. First, I'm gonna color his body fully gray. Next, let's color the feet and wings brown. Now I'm gonna color in his beak, and we'll give him some eyes. Now let's add a bit more details, and I think this is looking pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. This is Bombombini Gusini in the game. I don't know why, but he is moving super fast. It's probably because he's a plane. Planes move fast. He's pushing the other brain rots. This is kind of insane. Anyways, we are going to buy this Gusini real quick, and now we have a pretty insane looking base. We are already making so much money from these brain rots. If you right click on Bombombini Gusini, you are able to go on a flight to anywhere. Well, not really, because he doesn't seem to go up, so I can't get over this mountain. But you are still able to ride him. You also can't attack him with a sword because planes are immune to swords. Don't go test that. It's probably true. If you kill Bombombini, he drops some feathers, and that is because he is a goose, not because the plane is made of feathers. And overall, I think Bombombini Gusini isn't the best looking mob I've made, but he still looks decent. So because of this, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. The next mob is and I'm going to use a creeper to make him. First, let's get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. Next, I'm going to shape the body into a coffee cup. I'm going to add a layer on top that will be a lid. Now let's add this straw thing up here. Next, I'm going to change the shape of his legs. Now let's give him some feet. And I'm going to add his arms on the side. Now let's start to give him a sword. And we'll copy this thing over to the other side. Now this looks good. Let's color him in. First, I'm going to color the coffee cup. I'll add some brown parts to the cup as well. Next, I'm going to color in his shoes. And let's color his swords gray. Now I'm going to give him some eyes. And we'll add some eyebrows on top. Now let's add some extra details. I think he looks pretty good. Let's add him to the game. This is how he looks in the game. He actually looks really good. I do think the shaders make him look a little bit worse than he did in Blockbench though. But this is definitely pretty good. Cappuccino Assassino is extremely fast as you can see. And if you couldn't tell, he is really good with the swords. I mean, look at that animation. It's definitely not a really bad animation. It's super cool. If you kill Cappuccino, it takes a while, but when you finally do, he drops a netherite sword. The other sword gets killed as well. And since he's good at using the swords, he's actually able to use them to deflect arrows. He is using them, you just can't see it. But he also has a weakness, and that's fall damage, because if you drop a coffee, it's going to spill. Overall, I think Cappuccino Assassino is a really good mob, and for that, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'll make and I'm going to use a Ravager to make her. First, I'm going to get rid of these 2 legs. Next, we'll add our own body, and I'm going to make these legs wider. Now let's change the shape of the face, and next I'm going to add a long trunk. Now let's give her some big elephant ears. We'll copy that to the other side, and let's add some big feet for her sandals, and I think that looks good. Now let's color it in. I'm going to color the cactus parts green for now, and I'll color the sandals all brown. Now let's add some white tusks, and I'm going to give her a couple of eyes on the side of her face. Next, let's replace all the green with a cactus texture, and I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Larilla, I don't know how to say the name, looks in game. As you can see, she is really big, and also is a giant cactus, which is why we're in a desert. But she moves really slow due to her size, as you can see. I don't know if that's accurate to elephants, but I don't care if it is. And she also has the ability to teleport through time. I promise it's true. If you want to ride the cactus elephant, you can, but I'm not really sure what's going on here. This would probably hurt because you're sitting on a giant cactus. Well, inside of one, at least. Larilla is immune to a cactus, as you can see, because she's a cactus. And if you kill her, she'll drop a cactus. You gotta be careful doing it in survival, though, because she does have the same effect as Thorn's armor. Overall, I'm going to give the cactus elephant a 7 out of 10. It's just not a very good looking mob. It's kind of just a giant cactus. The next mob is
Ballerina cappuccina.
and I'll use a skeleton to make her. First, I'll make her legs a lot smaller, and I'll do the same thing for her body. Now let's move her arms down here as well, and I'll also move down her head. Next, I'm gonna change her head into the shape of a teacup, and let's make the little handle on the side. Now I'm going to add her skirt down here like this, and I think this is good. Let's add some color. First, I'm gonna color the cup like this, and we'll put the same color on her arms and legs. Now let's color her shirt a light pink, and I'm gonna add the coffee to the top of her head with a little swirl like this. Now let's give her a couple of eyes, and I'll draw a mouth down here. Next, I'm gonna add some detail. Okay, I think this is done. Let's see how she looks in game. This is how Ballerina Cappuccina looks in game. I don't know what I was doing making her face. Ignore her face. But other than that, I mean, she looks alright. I will show you something cool though. If you right click her, she can do a dance. It's a very good dance. Not glitchy at all. Ballerina Cappuccina has the lowest HP out of the mobs I've made so far, but she has fast speed from dancing to make up for having no health. The dancing also allows her to be immune to damage like fire damage, as she can dance over it. I know she isn't dancing right now, but just pretend that that's what's happening, okay? If you kill the ballerina, you get a bucket of milk, because that's the closest thing to a cappuccino in Minecraft, and overall, I'm going to give the ballerina a 6 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie, the design for this one was pretty bad. Next, I'm going to make
Trulimero Trulicina.
and I'm going to use a cat to make him. First, let's move the body up a bit. Next, I'm going to turn this tail into a fish tail. Now let's add a fin on top, and I'm going to put some fins on the side as well. Now let's give it some feet, and we'll add a chin underneath the cat head like this. Now I think this looks good. Let's give it some color. Let's color the sides of the fish like this, and I'm going to color these fins in red. Now let's change the color of the cat's head, and I'm going to color in the legs this color. Now let's add some fish scales like this, and I'm going to add some detail to his face. Now let's color in underneath, and I think this is looking good. Let's add him to the game. This is how the mob whose name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce looks in game. This has got to be one of the stranger looking mobs for sure. It's part fish, part human, and part cat. And part broken, as you can see with the fins. They're kind of glitchy. If you didn't know, this fish cat is supposed to be the fastest brain rot animal, so I added that. There is nothing faster than this in the game. I don't even know what's going on. The fish cat is also supposed to attack dolphins. It's so fast that it can't even attack them properly though. Like that one just no clipped out of reality. And this one's doing something. And if you can kill a fish cat, it drops a fish. It's either that or I make it drop a cat. I'm not gonna lie, this mob looks strange and is kind of broken, but I'm still gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Honestly, I don't know why. It just feels like it deserves a high rating. The next mob is
Trallallero trallallà.
and I'm going to use a dolphin to make it. First, let's change the shape of the tail like this. Now let's change the shape of his head. Next, I'm gonna add a third fin in the back right here. And let's start to add some shoes. And this is pretty good. So let's start coloring his whole body blue. And I'm gonna color this part of the shoe lighter blue. And we'll color the bottom of the shark a whitish color. And I'll add some eyes like this. Now let's give him a mouth. And after changing the design a little bit, I think he looks pretty good. Let's add him to the game. This is how he looks in the game. I think he actually looks pretty good. His shoes are a little bit glitchy, but other than that, everything turned out good. I will say I'm not sure if he's the right size though. I think he's supposed to be a little bit bigger. He also does occasionally make some scary noises. I'm not sure what's up with that. Obviously, since this guy is a shark, he's able to swim in water. Well, kind of. I don't really know why he's bouncing up and down. I guess it's just those shoes making him walk on water. You are also able to ride him in the water, but for some reason you can't control it at all. Yeah, something might be wrong here. Anyways, you are able to ride on land just fine, if you ignore the fact that I'm super high up and that there's water noises. And if you kill one of these guys, you get a pair of those shoes for yourself. They're just diamond boots. They're not special boots. Anyways, I'm gonna give Trallallero Trallallà a 6 out of 10. He looks good, but there was too many broken features. Next, I'm going to make
Brr brr patapim. Il mio cappello è pieno di slim.
and for this one, we are using a warden. First, I'm gonna get rid of all the stuff we don't need. Then let's change the shape of his head a bit. Next, I'm gonna make his arms a lot thinner. Next, I'm gonna start giving him massive feet. And next, I'm gonna add his big nose. Now this is looking pretty good, so it's time to color him in. First, I'm gonna color his feet like this. Now I'll color his nose in slightly darker. And I'm gonna color the leaf parts in green for now. Next, let's draw his beard like this, and I'm gonna give him a couple of eyes. And finally, I've replaced the green parts with leaves like this, and I think he's looking pretty good. Let's see him in game. This is how he looks in the game. As you can see, he's a little bit giant. Look at these massive feet. This is crazy. He also turned out pretty good, except for this glitched part on top of his head. I thought I removed all the warden texture. I guess not. This guy has a ton of health to the point where I wouldn't even try killing him, and he's also super OP in a fight. I wouldn't try fighting him either. He is kind of slow due to his size though, but that doesn't change that he has a lot of health. If you do kill him, you receive a forbidden item, which is air. It's nothing. It was supposed to be a plant pot with a sapling, but that's not an actual item that you can get in the game, which is why I called it a forbidden item. Anyways, he's honestly a good addition to the game. So because of this, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 if it wasn't for the glitched warden texture on his head. The next mob I'll make is...
Tung 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 sahur.
and we're going to use an enderman to make him. Let's start by changing his legs, and we'll make his body a lot longer like this. Now let's remove the head, and I'm gonna move his arms and make them shorter as well. Next, let's turn these cubes into his mouth, and now it's time for us to add some color. I'm going to color his entire body like this. Now let's make his cheeks a darker color, and we'll color the back of his eyes in white like this. Next, I'm gonna color his eyes brown, and I'll color his mouth a similar color. Now I'm gonna color in his eyebrows. Next, I'm gonna give him some black pupils, and finally I'll give him his bat. Alright, I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how he turned out in game. Honestly, this is one of the scariest mobs yet. I mean, bro's face looks messed up. He kind of looks like Mr. Potato Head. Honestly, I don't think I want any of these running around in my world. He does not look friendly. I will say he is the first mob to have no mistakes though. Obviously, we gave him a bat for a reason, so let's see him put it to work. As you can see, the bat does crazy knockback, but because he has a stick, he has a lot less health than the previous mobs. And if you kill him, you can get the stick for yourself. Except it's a debug stick. It's not a knockback stick. This is not Bed Wars. Other than that, there isn't much more to say about this guy. He's just kinda there. He has no mistakes though, so I'm gonna have to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 if he wasn't so scary. Next, I'm going to make...
Boneca ambalabu.
and for this one, we'll obviously use a frog. First, I'm gonna remove the frog parts that we don't need. Next, I'll move the frog head all the way up here. Now let's start to make this part into the shape of a tire. Now I'm gonna turn this cube into his feet. Now this is looking pretty good. It's time for us to add color. First, we'll color his legs and feet in like this. Next, I'm gonna color the entire tire in gray. And I'll put some black tire marks all on the outside of the tire like this. Next, I'm gonna color the inside of the tire a darker black. And I'll add some detail to the feet like this. Finally, I'll change the frog head's color to green, and I think this looks pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. Okay, so this is what he looks like in the game. Honestly, this is what you would expect. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what this thing is even supposed to be. Yeah, that's about it. One thing about this guy is that he's super fast when he finally decides to move. Not sure if he's gonna move though. Okay, I can't even get them to fight each other. I guess they're broken. Or this is the most crazy fight of all time. Oh, hitting him with the sword somehow fixed it. Anyways, as you can see, they drop a slime ball when killed, and yeah, he's super fast when you can get him to move. But because it's almost impossible to get him to move, I'm going to have to give him an 8 out of 10. If he did that more often, it would still probably not be a 10, because I still don't even know what this thing even is. The next mob I'll make is...
Frigo camelo, buffo fardello.
and I'm going to use a camel to make him. First, I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff that we don't need. Next, I'm going to make the body a lot bigger into the shape of a fridge like this. And I'm going to make the front legs a lot thinner. Now it's time to turn this bottom part into boots. Now let's adjust the fridge a little bit more, and it's time to color this in. First, I'll color the fridge light gray like this. Next, let's add a gray line on the edges right here. Now let's add another line to separate the freezer. Now let's turn this piece into the fridge handle. Next, I'm gonna color his shoes a brownish color. Now let's add some laces to the shoes, and I think we're done. Let's see how this guy looks in game. This is how the fridge camel looks in game. Not gonna lie, it's one of the worst looking mobs, but that's because it's literally a camel in a fridge. Still no visible mistakes though, so at least that's good. Despite being part fridge, which is pretty heavy, the camel can still run pretty fast, even faster than Boneca. You can also ride the camel, but the only issue is you get put in the fridge because that's the only place to sit. At least fridge travel is way faster than it is on a regular camel, so there's an upgrade there. Also, if your camel gets into a fight, it is pretty much immune to knockback. As you can see, the bat does nothing to him. Because he's part fridge, he's basically a brick wall wall, there's no moving this thing. If you manage to kill a fridge camel, it will drop a block of ice, and it's pretty self-explanatory why, because it's ice, and a fridge is cold. Overall, I decided to give the fridge camel an 8 out of 10. The mob is good, but I just don't like the design. Next, I'm going to make...
Giraffa celeste.
And I'll use a llama to make him, because llamas are kind of close to giraffes. First, let's get rid of these chests, and I'm gonna move the body up like this. Now let's make the neck more giraffe-like, and I'll make his head more like a giraffe too. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of his legs, and I'll make the legs longer as well. Next, I'll add a melon texture to his body like this, and now I'm gonna paint away these extra eyes, and we'll color in the missing parts on his legs. Now it's time to add some giraffe spots all over his body, and I'll start to add some detail to the spots like this, and I think that this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the giraffe looks in game. Yeah, it's definitely a giraffe. I feel like this would actually be a pretty good giraffe design if it wasn't for the giant melon in the middle. I might have made him a little bit big though. I don't think giraffes are this giant. Similar to the last mob, the giraffe is also rideable, although it is a lot slower than the camel is, as you can see. There's also still a seating problem like there was on the fridge as well. The main difference here is that the giraffe can fly though. Yeah, the melon made no sense, so I decided to make it make even less sense. We got flying melon giraffes in 2025. I also couldn't think of a drop for this mob, so once you finally kill it, it drops a totem. Yeah, this is probably the most random mob so far. Flying melon giraffe is honestly a pretty high quality mob though, so for that, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, I don't know why. I'm just doing stuff at this point. I'm going to be remaking Minecraft mobs into 99 Nights in the Forest. The first mob I'll make is the ram, and I'm going to use a sheep to make him. First, let's move this out of the way. Next, I'm gonna give him a new body. Now let's start making his arms, and we'll copy this over to the other side. Now let's change the shape of his head, and I'm gonna turn this part into his horns. Now let's copy this horn over to the other side. Alright, I think this is looking good. It's time to add some color. First, I'll color his horns in dark black. Now let's color the entire body this brownish color. Next, I'm gonna make some parts lighter like this. Now let's give him some eyes, and let's add a bit more detail to his arms and his legs. Okay, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the ram looks in the game. I honestly think he turned out super good. I can't really see any mistakes when looking at him. Maybe his horns are a little too thin, and his mouth kind of just turns into a beard. But other than that, I think this is definitely one of the best mobs I've ever made. Just like in the real game, the ram will chase you if you are not near a campfire, and he even charges at you as well. The ram does slightly less damage than the deer, but he still does a lot of damage, so you have to watch out when you're being chased. If you go near a campfire, you can stop the ram from chasing you, but make sure you don't try to fight the ram, because he takes no damage from any attacks, just like in the real game. The good news though is that you will never find the ram in the overworld. The ram only spawns in the nether, because the nether is kind of like the volcano biome, but in Minecraft. If the ram somehow manages to die, it drops a goat horn, and now that I think of it, I probably should have used a goat to make him instead of a sheep. That probably would have made more sense. Anyways, as I said earlier, I think the ram is one of the best looking mobs I've ever made. So because of this, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. Next, I'm going to make a cultist king, and we will use an evoker to make him. First, let's move some of this stuff, and I'm gonna add another side to his coat. Now let's make his legs bigger to match the size of his coat, and I'm gonna do the same for his arms. Next, I'm gonna change the shape of his head, and I'll add his crown on the top. Now let's add these antlers, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's color him in. First, I'll color his clothes bright yellow. Next, I'm gonna color his skin light red. Now let's color in the shirt underneath. Next, I'm gonna add some details to his coat. Now let's add his face, and I'm gonna add a bit more details to his clothes. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see him in the game. This is the cultist king in the game. As you can see, he looks like a Roblox character. That is a good thing, because he is a Roblox character. Anyways, he does look really good in game. The only thing that maybe needs to be fixed is his eyes, because they are kind of connected together. But other than that, he definitely looks like the cultist king. In order to find a cultist king, you need to get to an abandoned village with regular cultists. You can then summon him by placing a gem inside of each house. Once you summon the cultist king, you will find that he is a little bit stronger than a regular mob. He is also immune to fire and explosions, so you're gonna have to kill him yourself. If you do manage to kill the cultist king, he will drop a mace. This is because the cultist king is supposed to be holding his own mace, which I completely forgot to add. But at least he still drops a mace. That's better than nothing. Overall, I think the cultist king turned out pretty good, other than the missing mace. So because of this, I decided to give him a 9 out of 10. The next mob I'll make is the pelt trader, and I'm going to use a wandering trader to make him. First, let's get rid of all the stuff we don't need. Next, I'm gonna make his body a little bit bigger, and we'll use this body to give him some new arms. Next, let's change his legs to match the arms, and I'm gonna make his head a little bit smaller. Now let's turn this part into his hair, and we'll give him a cape on his back like this, and I think this is pretty good. Now it's time to color him in. First, let's color his body parts yellow like this, and we'll color his pants in dark black. Next, I'm gonna make his shirt dark brown, and we'll color this part in white. Next, I'm gonna add a bit more detail to his shirt, and I'm gonna color in his hair a little bit like this. Now let's give him some eyes and a mouth, and finally I'll color in his cape. Let's add a bit of detail. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the pelt trader looks in the game. Just like the last mob, he looks a lot like a Roblox character. That's a pretty common thing that happens when you're making Roblox characters. But he does look pretty good. There is a slight problem on his hands and his feet that I can't fix without my game crashing, so we'll just ignore it. I also probably should have made his cape move a bit while he's walking, but he's good enough like this. I'm not messing with him anymore. The pelt trader is invincible just like he is in the actual game, and he will show up randomly every few days after you sleep. If you have a rabbit's foot, you are able to give it to him and trade for a flashlight. This is definitely not a spyglass. It's a flashlight. You just can't see because it isn't dark. But that is the only trade level that he has right now, so you can only trade him rabbit feet. Nothing else will work. If the pelt trader somehow dies, you can get a flashlight from him for free instead of trading, and overall I think the pelt trader looks pretty accurate to the real game. But there are a few issues that couldn't be fixed. So because of this, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. Next, I am going to make a scorpion, and I'm going to use a silverfish for this one because they're pretty much the same thing. First, let's get rid of all of this stuff. Next, I'm going to rearrange these pieces a little bit, and we'll extend this part out a little bit more to be a tail. Now let's raise this body up a little bit, and I'm going to give him a leg like this. Now let's copy this leg until there is 6 of them, and I'm going to start to add his claws. Now let's copy this to the other side. Alright, I think this looks pretty good. Let's color it in. First, let's color the entire body in brown. Next, we'll add some darker brown details like this, and I'm going to add a couple orange eyes in the front, and let's add these mouth things as well. Now finally, let's add a bit more detail. Alright, I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in the game. This is a scorpion in game. As you can see, it's definitely a bit larger than a silverfish, but the scorpions in 99 Nights are pretty big compared to real scorpions, so I think it's fine. There is one mistake on the scorpion. Somehow it's missing the dark brown part on its feet on this side. But other than that, I think it turned out really good. Scorpions are really fast, as you can see. I think they are too fast, actually. I don't know how it ended up this fast. And if they hit you, there is a 1 in 10 chance that you will get poisoned. The good thing is, they don't have that much health. And if you kill a scorpion, it will give you one of these shells. I did this because scorpions can drop a scorpion shell in 99 Nights, but there is no scorpion shell in Minecraft, so we get Nautilus shells instead. Alongside being able to run super fast, scorpions are also able to jump off of anything without taking fall damage. So getting away from them is pretty much impossible. You are going to have to kill them. Overall, I think the scorpion turned out pretty good, and it looks very accurate to the one in the real game. So because of this, I'm going to give the scorpion a 9 out of 10. Next, I'm going to make a lava mammoth, and we will use a ravager to make this one. First, let's remove the stuff that we don't need. Next, I'm going to change his legs a little bit, and we'll add some feet at the bottom like this. Next, let's change the shape of his body, and I'm going to make the head a lot smaller as well. Now let's add this part on the top, and I'm going to give him some big ears. Now let's turn this part into his trunk, and we'll turn this part into a tusk. Now let's copy this tusk to the other side, and finally we'll add a little tail. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's add some color. Let's color his entire body red, and we'll color his tusks in white like this. Now let's give him some little red eyes, and we'll color some parts a little bit darker red. Next, let's add a bit of detail like this, and I'm gonna add these big white nails on his feet. Now let's add a bit more texture, and I think this looks pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the lava mammoth looks in the game. As you can see, I made him very big, but he is pretty big in 99 Nights as well, although I'm not sure if he's this big. Anyways, the lava mammoth looks pretty good, as you can see. There isn't too much detail on it, but that's because it's a big red mammoth. There isn't much detail to it in the real game either. The lava mammoth has the most health out of any mob so far, so killing this thing is going to take a while. It also is immune to fire because it's made of lava, so burning it isn't an option either. The good thing is that if you get the lava mammoth to low health, you are actually able to tame it and ride it around. You're not really able to see anything while riding it though, because it is kind of gigantic. If you want to just kill the lava mammoth, it will drop a cooked steak. I probably should have made it drop a bunch of steaks like it does in the actual game instead of just one, but I'm not fixing that, so you just get one steak from a giant elephant. Overall, I think the lava mammoth looks pretty good for what it is, so So because of this, I decided to give it an 8 out of 10. The next mob I'll make is the owl, and I'm going to use a chicken to make him, because a chicken is almost the same thing as an owl. Let's get rid of some of the things we don't need, and I'm gonna move his body up because he needs to be a lot bigger than this. Now let's give him some new legs, and we'll copy this leg over to the other side. Next I'm gonna give him a new body, and let's change the shape of his head. Next I'm gonna start to give him some wings, and I'll give him a hand like this, and I think this is looking good. It's time for us to add some color. First we'll color his body entirely gray. Next I'm gonna make his legs a little bit darker. Now let's add some dark spots on his feathers, and I'll color his beak orange. Now let's draw his scary mouth, and we'll color in his eyes. Now let's add a bit more detail, and I think this is looking good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the owl looks in the game. I won't lie, the face looks kinda messed up. His face still looks creepy, but it definitely doesn't look like an owl. His beak looks kinda like his nose, I'm not gonna lie. But other than that, I think the rest of the owl looks really good. I probably should have made his wings move a bit though. The owl is hostile just like it is in the real game, and if you start moving near it, it will start chasing you. The only way to stop the owl from chasing you is by standing completely still or by standing near a campfire. Also, just like in 99 Nights in the Forest, the owl is completely immune from damage by weapons. Instead, you are going to have to kill the owl using fire, which isn't part of the real game, but he would be too OP if he was unkillable. If you do manage to kill the owl, he has a chance of dropping a feather, but there are some times where you might just get nothing. And overall, I think the owl turned out really good, but there are a few things wrong with him, specifically his face. So because of this, I decided to give the owl an 8 out of 10. Next I am going to make a cultist, and I'm going to use a villager to make him. First let's get rid of the stuff we don't need. Next we're going to give him some Roblox sized arms, and we'll make his legs bigger to match this size as well. Now let's copy this to the other side, and we're going to make his head a bit smaller. Now let's turn these pieces into his mask, and we're going to add the deer antlers on his head, and let's just copy this over to the other side. Alright, I think this is looking good. It's time to add color. First we'll color his coat dark gray, and we're going to make his shirt a lighter gray. Next I'm going to color in his pants, and we'll give him some shoes like this. Next I'm going to color in his head yellow, and we'll color in his mask like this. Now let's give him some eyes, and we'll color his antlers dark gray. Next I'm going to add a bit more detail to his coat, and we'll add more detail on the sides. Okay, I think this looks good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the cultist looks in the game. As you can see, he looks pretty accurate to the actual game. The mask he's wearing looks a little bit different to the one in the real game, but other than that, he looks pretty much the same, which is good because that's how it's supposed to be. We don't want the mobs to look different than they do in the real game. Cultists can be found in abandoned villages, but if you go near them, they won't attack you unless you attack them. This is because they're usually found in raids, so if they aren't doing a raid, they're just chilling. Unlike actual villagers though, you cannot trade with the cultists. I just want to make that clear. If you do get into a fight with one of them though, they barely do any damage because melee cultists don't do too much damage in the actual game either, and you are also able to kill them with weapons, unlike the owl. So dealing with these guys should be pretty easy. If you do kill a cultist, they drop a stone axe because that is the weapon that they are using. You can't see the stone axe, but it is there. Trust me. Overall, I think the cultist turned out pretty good. He looks really accurate to the game. So because of this, I decided to give him a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 if the mask was the same. Next, I am going to make an elite alien, and I am going to use a vindicator to make him because they kind of look the same. First, we'll get rid of the extra set of arms. Now let's change the shape of his legs, and we'll change the shape of his body. Next, I'm going to change the size of his arms as well, and we'll move and change the size of his nose. Now let's change the shape of his head, and we'll give him a sword in his hand like this. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. It's time to add some color. Let's remove his eyes and use his eyebrows as eyes instead, and we'll make the eyes a little bit bigger. Next, I'm going to give him a mouth. Now let's color his shirt entirely blue, and I'm going to color his pants a dark greenish color. Next, let's add some detail to his shirt, and I'm going to add this thing on his pants. Now finally, let's color in his sword, and I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see him in the game. This is how the elite alien looks in the game. I will not lie, his face looks kind of weird. It looks like a cross between Shrek and an alien. I think the nose is throwing it off. Other than that, he does look really good though, except for this one spot on his arm not having any texture. Not really sure how that happened. Anyways, if you do find an elite alien running around in your world, it will attack you. And I did make it do a little bit more damage than a regular mob because it says that elite aliens are a lot more powerful than regular aliens. I also gave him slightly more health for this reason as well. well. He's still not that big of a threat though. It only takes 2 hits to kill him with a netherite sword, but be careful because he could start flying back up to space. I don't know why you would have to be careful of that happening because it doesn't do anything to you. I just wanted to show the alien flying back up to space. If you kill an elite alien, he drops a diamond sword which is supposed to be a laser sword, so let's just pretend it's a laser sword. And overall I think the elite alien turned out decent, but there is definitely something wrong with his face. So because of this, I decided to give him a 7 out of 10. The next mob we'll make is an alpha wolf, and we are obviously going to use a wolf to make him. I don't really think we need to change much on his body, but let's just make this part a little bit bigger. Next I'm gonna move his head like this, and we'll change the position of his mouth. Next I'm gonna give him some big teeth, and we'll add some pointy ears, and I think this looks good. Let's color him in. First we'll color the top of his body dark brown, and we'll color the bottom parts a bit lighter. Next I'm gonna color his teeth bright white, and we'll color his mouth pink. Now let's give him some bright red eyes, and we'll give him some angry eyebrows. Now let's give him a big nose, and we'll color this nose in dark black. And I think this is looking pretty good. It's time to add him to the game. This is how the alpha wolf looks in the game. He looks kind of like a regular wolf except more scary. That is literally what it's supposed to look like though, so that's a good thing. I don't really see anything wrong with this wolf either, so that's good. I finally made a mob that doesn't have any random mistakes. If you go close to an alpha wolf, it will attack you just like any other Minecraft mob, but just like in 99 Nights in the Forest, you are able to get away from them by going near a campfire. You can also kill the wolf with any weapon you want, but you have to be careful because the alpha wolf does a lot more damage than a regular wolf, which makes sense because it's an alpha wolf, so it does alpha damage. You also can't tame one of these wolves unlike the actual Minecraft wolf, which means the only real use they have is dropping a piece of steak or a piece of leather, because that is what they drop in the actual game. I find it kind of weird that wolves drop steak, but whatever. Anyways, I definitely think the alpha wolf turned out pretty good, as there are no mistakes on him at all. So because of this, I'm going to give the alpha wolf a 10 out of 10. Next, we are going to make the deer, and I'm going to use a creaking to make him. First, let's get rid of some of the stuff we don't need. Next, I'm going to change the shape of his body. Now let's make his head a little bit wider, and I'm going to give him some new arms. Next, I'm going to give him new legs as well, and we'll turn this part into his mouth. Next, I'm going to make this piece into his ears. And finally, we'll give him some antlers. Alright, I think this is pretty good. It's time to add color. First, I'll color his entire body brown. Now let's color his mouth light brown. Next, I'm going to color in his eyes. I'll also color in his ears. Now let's color his antlers slightly darker, and we'll do the same for his hands and feet. Alright, I think this is looking pretty good. Let's see how he looks in game. This is how the deer looks in game. As you can see, he looks kind of scary. He also kind of looks like Ghostface a little bit, but I still think he turned out pretty good. The deer isn't a threat to you if you find him during the daytime, but at night you should definitely avoid running into him. If he finds you at night, he will chase you super fast, and if he manages to hit you with no armor, you will get insta-killed. The only way to stop the deer from attacking you at night is by being near a campfire, or using another source of light to protect yourself from him. Just like in the Roblox game, you also aren't able to attack him with any weapons. The only way to kill him is by using some kind of light source that does damage, like lava. If you do manage to kill the deer, he drops a piece of deer meat. I probably wouldn't eat that though. We don't know where this guy's been. Overall, I think the deer turned out pretty good. He looks almost the same as the original, so because of this, I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10.